Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another one of our Slant Alpha adventures. It is going to be just another couple minutes before we get going.
Thanks today for incoming. Wait,
And I'll show you why. Jet Pilot Cinnamon with the resub. Good Fixins with the resub.
Next step up is an ocean run. Get the ferry tank hooked up, Kappa.
Not in this airplane. We already did that once, by the way, in the AeroWorks C47 DC3. So yeah, it's a little bit of in the kitchen with Slant Alpha. I got dinner started late, so I'll show you. It's basically chicken fajita there that I just baked up chicken breast, sliced up some peppers and onions. So I'm going to just scarf that down real quick because I'm starving. I haven't had a chance to eat. So just give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back with you. You can watch the beautiful shot of the Bay Bridge. Now, if you do see any of the blue tractor trailers, they will be coming down the eastbound span backwards. I posted a screenshot to a handful of pages here just recently. So we'll try and get you a close-up of that if we see it again. But in the meantime, just give me 2 or 3 more minutes, whip this down real quick, and we'll get started, guys. All right, I apologize for the delay. Talk to you in just a couple. Alright guys, back with you. Thank you for indulging me on that. Man, that was good though. I mean, that was perfectly seasoned. I didn't have to put anything on it. No sauce, no salt, pepper, anything. Just the way I seasoned it going in. It came out perfect. Sorry, not trying to toot my own horn, but I am trying to kind of improve my overall eating habits. And man, that turned out pretty good. That will be a keeper. That recipe will be a keeper. Anyway, alright, so it's time for another one of our Slant Alpha adventures, and I do thank you all for joining us. We're resuming our series called River Run, which here in Season 2, since we chose the Susquehanna River, we followed that all the way down from Cooperstown, New York, to where it empties into the Chesapeake Bay, and we're continuing southbound along the Chesapeake Bay, so really this has turned into more of a bay run, and we've shown you where the traffic coming over the Maryland Chesapeake Bay Bridge is not quite working perfectly like your where one might hope. Let's get my drone camera controls back. So yeah, there's some issues with the traffic not being in the right spot, but I'll tell you, you know, and I'm not generally picky about that kind of stuff, especially once you get to altitude, but I will tell you that the detail that they have rendered this bridge with is stunningly accurate. Even the little lane control markers that we pass periodically here are very, very accurate. I mean, the interval of them is even accurate. It might even be the exact placement is accurate on those. It's really close. That's a remarkable job. Anyway, we are at Bayport Airport, just over here to the east, and just off to the south of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. You see the airport here, and just to the left of that little resort that I had a work retreat at just a few weeks ago. Showed you some pictures of that very Bay Bridge. We'll just zoom in here. Whoosh. Okay, there's our Cessna 152, and let's see. So the resort, yeah. So the resort's actually between the bridge and the airport. So you come off the highway. You get off this first exit. Kind of make this first right. I forget what's up there. Marina, maybe? I mean, boat service place. And then the hotel portion of the resort. And then, like, you keep coming down, there's another marina and a boat servicing place. And then this is these are the buildings of the meeting rooms of the resort. And the meeting rooms that most of our stuff were in were the ones that were right there facing the bridge. And it was just really gorgeous. Or no, this side, here we go. Yeah, the driveway comes down this way, and then here's the meeting rooms here. And as we stepped out of the side of the one meeting room, we were literally right along the water side of the west side of the runway there. So it's really cool, kind of little place to visit, and that was about a month ago. We got a whole slew of folks that are joining us tonight. Let's see. Who did I miss? I got the subscriptions, and thank you guys for the continued support of the channel. Kenny Muster, Fizdo is watching us here. I got a handful of you that need to get some alphabets points in. Yep, we will definitely take care of that. We got our raffle drawings happening 2 nights from tonight, and so tonight we're going to get 8 landings in if all goes as according to plan. So we will get you some opportunities to get into both of those raffles. Our Alphabets Points raffle, you join with the Alphabets Points, 1,000 for 1 entry, 5,000 for 6 entries. And the landing rate raffle, you'll join as we do each touchdown here. We'll get some predictions and let you guys decide. We'll figure out which of your predictions is the closest after each touchdown. Who else? Peeble stopped in. Texas Flyboy is here. Runway selection. Yeah, so the weather, obviously real world weather in this area is terrible. All these red dots. Red indicates, pretty much IMC. You got 2.5 statute miles in mist, overcast at 500. At Bay Bridge, what are they showing? 7 statute miles in haze, overcast at 900, so it's not quite as bad as, where's that, Easton? And then down here at Cambridge, which is our final destination of the night, 3 statute miles in mist, broken at 400, overcast at 800. Yeah, it's really crappy weather. So I forced VMC, the altimeter settings. Remember now, in the new VATSIM code of conduct, you do have to use realistic pressure, wind, and temperature. So let's just look at those real quick. 3012, temps 15, wind is 010 at 3. Wind is 310 at 3. Temp 16. Altimeter's 3014. Altimeter 3011, temp 15. Wind 330 at 5, I think that said. What did it say over here at Annapolis? 3011. 350 at 3. And temp 16. So temperatures right around 15, 16 degrees. The altimeter's, I said 3010 in the chat. Yeah, it's not bright. You can try live weather if you want to, man. It's not going to work though. You're gonna be in mist at 500 feet. So do what you want. But if you want to fly along, you're probably not going to have too much success with that. But anyway, yeah, so the average temps are around 15, 16 degrees. The winds are more or less calm. They've picked up a couple knots since I posted the message about 15, 20 minutes ago about the weather conditions. So they're kind of out of the north and northwest, 2 to 3 knots. I think winds calm is close enough for VATSIM purposes, especially since we're probably not going to have VATSIM air traffic control, and even if we do, nowhere that we're going to fly tonight is going to be controlled. This is all class Echo and Golf airspace. We're going to be well below this Bravo shelf at 4,500 feet. Probably going to be more like 2,500 feet. We're not going to come near the Delta here at Easton unless we mess up. And all these are magenta, meaning that they are non-towered fields. So there's no air traffic control that needs to be working with us tonight. So if the weather settings are not quite 100% perfect, I don't think it's going to bother anybody really. So there you go. Just do your best, and I think we'll be fine. But anyway, yeah. So we were talking about runway in use here at Bay Bridge. Yeah, I think 29 is going to work fine. So I think westbound would be your better choice. Westbound or northbound would be your better choice at each of these places, and we'll figure out what that means. I do want to point out, I'm testing a model matching rule set that I have made that is just completely my own doing. I haven't used anything except the Flight Sim 2020 default model, so I have not added any models, but I added a model rule set that should match GA types more closely to something that's a similar shape and size. So we've got a helicopter here, and I'm assuming that may be Kenny Monster. The only helicopter we've got a model of is this stupid, eight rotor, whatever you call it. But at least it is an actual helicopter rather than a fixed wing floating around as a hovercraft. So that seems to be working so far, and we'll see what the rest of y'all render as when we get going here. You're on the other side of the runway, Kenny. We might have another helicopter because it's moving like a helicopter. But yeah, we got another helicopter over there, so. Yeah, so that part of the model match might be working. If that goes well tonight, Stu says there is a GA model matching file out there that matches all helis to the H135. Okay, gotcha. But I don't have the H135. Is that a default model in the set here? Oh, it's a free install, says Good Fixins. Gotcha. Oh, yeah. I was considering picking that up, actually. Okay, I gotcha. But anyway, so right now I just only have the default models, but I did put in my own custom model set, and so that at least will render helicopters as something that moves like a helicopter. So it'll look a little less stupid than like a Cessna Caravan. Excuse me, floating around. All right, we talked about the weather briefing. Let's go over the itinerary here real quick. We are going to start at Bay Bridge Airport, like we've shown you. We're going to hit Kentmoor Airpark. I actually saw a television commercial for this place down here on the Eastern Shore. They had a television commercial showing how cool this place is. Very much like a Bayport Aerodrome, except not in quite a populated area. So we'll see how well that's rendered in the sim. And that's just 4 miles south of Bay Bridge, so we'll look for that. We're going then down to Kent Fort Manor. That's so Kentmoor's 3 Whiskey 3. Kent Fort Manor is 7 Mike Delta 8. Down just on that same peninsula. Or I guess is it a peninsula, or is this all Kent Island still? Yeah, I guess this is east of the Bay Bridge, but west of the Kent Narrows Bridge. So this is all Kent Island. From Kent Manor, we go south and east, back over to the mainland side off St. Michael's. We got Mike Delta 64, which is Ashland. And then we got Tillman, which is 7 Mike Delta 9. We'll go over the, I forget, is this the Chop Tank River? I forget which one this is. That's the river that comes right past Cambridge. We'll look for this private strip called Ross Neck. That's Mike Delta 04. We'll go 2 miles west. Look for Big Oak Farm as designated 1 Mike Delta 1. We'll go 2 miles south. We'll look for Ragged Island Airstrip, Mike Delta 82. And then we'll go a few miles east. We'll rejoin the US 50 connector. That's the main road that connects Ocean City with Annapolis. And that's Cambridge-Dorchester Regional, which is a paved strip. And it's KCGE, Kilo Charlie Golf Echo. That's where we're going to end this trip for tonight, right on the border of that restricted airspace that's down here near Patuxent, which is on the west side. We're going to fly. The next itinerary is going to take us around to the west side of the Chesapeake Bay, and we're going to end up hitting a few of these strips over here near the Patuxent Naval Air Station. But that's for our next River Run episode, which I think we're probably not going to get into until later in November. We got so much stuff that we want to do. All right, we ready to go flying, guys? I think Freckles is stalled long enough. Let's get her into the airplane and let's get going. All right, are we ready? Guys, continue to chat amongst yourselves while I get the plane up and running, and that is fine as always. All right, so the levers are set. Fuel load, I'm gonna just set 80% fuel, or what do I usually do? 75% fuel. And then if I put the weight up to just under the max gross, probably 3 of those accounts for me and 1 of those accounts for Freckles, so close enough. So fuel load set, doors and windows are open, so that is fine. All right, we are still waiting for our friend Freckles to arrive. But we can go ahead and close our door on our side, and then when she gets in, okay, there she is. You can get her door closed. Leave the windows open for now just to get some fresh air in here, and just kind of waggle the controls and make sure everything works. All right, good. We're all set. All right, let's get the battery switch on. Get the nav and beacon lights. Let's get the fuel selector on. I always got to be careful about rubbing her leg when I do that. She and I are just platonic friends, as I always point out. Especially when my wife's like 20 feet away from me. Let's see, fuel selector, throttle and mix can come open. We will pull the primer maybe 3 times. Okay. Throttle can go to about 10%. Mix comes all the way back out. We'll go ahead and engage the magnetos, right, left, both. Let's clear the prop area. All right, we'll engage the starter while we enrich the mix. There you go, hear it fire up. Okay, mix is fully rich, engine is running. Oil pressure comes up right away, rather. Yeah, you don't want things to get awkward with Freckles, that's right. You always, I always got to, hey, I'm reaching past your knee, honey. And then she's like, don't call me honey, you know. Can't win. And then my wife was like, don't call her honey.
468 is on a 8-mile final 33 left.
Oh, somebody's coming into Baltimore. That's awesome. That airport doesn't get enough traffic in VATSIM. All right, anyway, where did we leave off? Yeah, alternator can come on. We are idling just over 1,000, so that means, yes, when I turn the alternator off, that warning light comes on, but when I turn the alternator on, we're making enough RPMs to charge the battery for the electricity that we're using, so the warning light goes off. The radios, obviously, were left on last time. We're already on 22.8, so we're good there. I'll get the DME box on. We'll put the transponder into altitude mode. I say alternator like 5 or 6 times in the narration, and then I see this button that says ALT, and I almost always say alternator mode, and then I have to correct myself. Excuse me. Alright, so that's done. 1200 is the appropriate squawk code for VFR, and throttles are set to 1,000. Flight plan's already been sent. We did say that we were setting the altimeter to 3010 or thereabouts. However, I don't know that that is simulating properly because the field elevation here is not 200 feet. So I'm going to set the altimeter by the charted field elevation, which is next to nothing. 15 feet, so we'll make sure that that's approximately what's being read here, and it is. Okay, so the weather simulator, the weather parameters that I put in, I may not have put in correctly, but oh well. We'll set it to whatever tells us the correct altitude for where we are.
Traffic at Diamond Tree for 10, wishing taxi runway 29 or Bay Bridge.
The directional gyro should be parked at a 156, it looks like. And which of these knobs does that? I forget. Okay, that one. And we're going to take off on 29er. So I will set that over there. We will check our flap operation. Flaps 2. Again, obviously I'm going to be looking back and forth as I do that to see that the flaps on both sides do what they are commanded to do. And then we'll set back into takeoff. Trim is set for takeoff as well. Oil temperature has come up to operating, so we're good. Taxi routing, we know we're going to taxi out in a 1-1 direction to take off on 29, so we'll go ahead and get the taxi lights on, and we will go. Before we go, we do want to check our first leg here. It's 4 miles to the south, and let's see what our landing plan is at Kentmoor Airpark. I believe it's also kind of an east-west thing. Yeah, 10 and 2-8. So we'll land on 2-8 down there. So what that means for us is a departure 29. We'll turn left. We'll pass the airport, join a left downwind to 2-8 there. That's what I'm going to do at least. The other option would be to overfly it at 1500, come down to the south and do this circle to the right, and then join a 45 to left downwind. You know, you'd be at 1500 for this part here, and then you descend to be at 1000 by the time you get on that 45. So that's the other option. I think we're just going to stay west of it, and then we'll cut in and just do a flat pattern. Not too much other air traffic except those that are participating with us, so I think we'll be fine. Alright, parking brake is off. We are taxiing in a 1-1 direction, so that's kind of up ahead to my left there. Bay Bridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor taxiing out for VFR southbound departure, runway 29er, Bay Bridge.
Block.
Bay Bridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's taxiing out to runway 29er for VFR southbound departure, Bay Bridge. Nobody coming from the left. Traffic down there to the right.
Baltimore traffic, southwest 468 is clear of
Alright, I am going to pull it into the run-up area here, because we are going to do a quick run-up, although the run-up is not terribly long in this aircraft. And I'll turn just so we can kind of see if there's anybody else heading our way. We'll set the RPMs to 1700. We'll do a magneto check. We'll drop it to just the left mag. We can hear that there's about a 75 RPM loss. Put it back to both, see if it comes back up. Go to the second click down, which is just the right mags. Again, same 75 loss. Everything's good.
Baybridge traffic, hover taxi, runway 29er via Alpha Malicious 1.
Baybridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor departing runway 29er, VFR southbound Baybridge. Should
Traffic, Diamond 10.
have called that a
Runway
left
29,
crosswind, I
Park City,
suppose.
South Baybridge.
Strobes on, landing lights on, taxi light off, pitot on. Windows closed. I'm kind of behind the 8 ball getting some of this stuff done. Let's stay on the center line. Okay, let's set takeoff power and go. Yeah, it's kind of sloppy, guys. I'm sorry. Alright, we'll maintain center line.
Traffic number 55264, taxi runway 29 for a southbound departure.
$60 knots. We'll rotate. Pitch to maintain to 60 as long as we got altitude and airspeed. Flaps can come in. Baybridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is clear on runway 29er, entering left crosswind and will be departing the area to the south, Baybridge.
Baybridge traffic lining up runway 29er Malicious 1.
Alright. Here we go. I'm going to change that heading bug by 10 degrees to reflect.
Diamond 341 Sierra Whiskey entering left crosswind runway 28. Kentmoor.
Reflect that Kentmoor's a 2.8 rather than a 2.9er. We're going to just roll out on the shoreline here. I'm going to pull the RPMs just barely off of the red line. Throw in just a touch of up trim. Keep that nose up for us. Looks like we're doing about 80 in the climb, which is fine. And remember, we're only going 4 miles, so... Now, I'll tell you what. That's probably it right here.
Baybridge traffic 300 climbing 1000 turning left crosswind, clear of runway 29er Malicious 1.
Baybridge traffic number 55264, departing runway 29er southbound departure.
So it does look like there's these two little fingers that come north on the
Kentmoor Airpark traffic, Diamond 3410.
mainland side,
Runway 28.
and then it's right here. So it's got to be, if it's not this, it's this darker green one here. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's overflying the field. It's north to south, 1500. We'll maneuver south and west over the bay, join a 45 to left downwind 28. Kentmoor. I'll do exactly what I said I wasn't going to do, but just because if I don't want to fly right off of the approach end of this right at pattern altitude. So we'll level it at 15.
Kentmoor traffic, Diamond 3410 Whiskey, left base, runway 28.
You should be
Traffic number 55264.
more or less right below us.
Turning left base and clear the field.
I'm going to turn out.
Kentmoor Airpark traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, short final 28, Kentmoor.
Yep, there he is right below us. Okay, that's good. So that's where we thought it would be. So we've just overflown it. Picking up some altitude. I'm going to go 1 minute south, 1 minute west, and then we'll turn in on a 45.
Kentmoor traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, clear the runway.
And
Kentmoor.
while we're down here, let's look for Kent Fort Manor, which should be somewhere right around in here. I mean, it might be one of these three clearings. So we'll look for that. Alright, I'm going to pull the power down pretty far. We're going to trim it down. We're going to get down from our overflight altitude to our pattern altitude. We've now passed it by 45 seconds. Say we're going 90 knots. That's okay, there's 1 minute. That's about a mile and a half south. And then we're going to go west for 1 minute. Try and level it right at 1,000. Of course, it took us 30 seconds to make the turn, which is standard rate for a 90-degree turn. So really I should fly until that second hand sweeps around to the bottom of the minute again. Alright, there's 1,000. We'll trim it up a little bit, add some power back in. Freckles, how you doing? You enjoying the flight so far? Yeah, just making sure I'm not about to kill her. Freckles is speechless, says Texas Flyboy. Yeah. Unfazed is the word I like to use. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's about 2 to 3 miles southwest. We're going to maneuver to join the 45, the left downwind runway 28 Kentmoor.
Kentmoor traffic, I'll hover north of the runway. I'm still trying to determine if it's the runway or not in the malicious one.
Yeah, it seems it's the darker green patch, if that helps you. Alright, so there's about a 45. And I believe we're looking at it right here. Alright guys, can start putting some predictions into the chat as to your guess what our vertical descent rate upon touchdown will be. No bot command is necessary for that, just a number, positive or negative. Minus sign is even optional too, because we know that you mean a descent rate after all. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's now on that left downwind approximately midfield, runway 28 Kentmoor. And I'm a couple hundred feet high, so I'm going to drop the power out just a touch. And we're well within the flap deployment range. Yeah, there's our field right there. So we'll go ahead and get that first notch in, and I'll add a little power to counteract the extra lift we just gave ourselves. Keep the predictions coming, guys. The numbers need to be in the chat by the time I'm lined up on final.
Number 55264 is left downwind runway 28 Kentmoor.
Okay, and I'm going to turn just past the tributary. I'm going to turn right here at the corner of this bay.
What day is it, Mike?
So let's go ahead and drop power. Drop some trim. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's turning left Downwind to left base, runway 28, Kentmoor. Laps 2. Drop some power.
Washington traffic, to remain Foxtrot joining the Quebec 419er airway at Ross, Washington.
Alright, 60 knots, probably where we want to be. Add a little power, maybe we'll call it 55. Get that third notch of flaps in. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor stop. Half mile final, runway 28, Kentmoor.
Kentmoor traffic number 55264 left to base from runway 28, Kentmoor.
Yeah, what do you think, Mike? This looks like kind of a smaller, less populated version of Bayport, doesn't it? Might be nice to organize a little group flying down here sometime. Well, I'm not exactly 100% sure where the runway surface is supposed to be. I think I might have landed on what's supposed to be the taxiway. Cessna 514 Delta Victor's down and clear. Not sure which is runway, which is taxiway, but we'll be parked near the tree to be out of the way. Kentmoor.
Kentmoor traffic number 55264, short final runway 28, full stop, Kentmoor.
Yeah, so I think what's ahead of us is really the runway. We'll see what... Yeah, I guess that's supposed to be runway there. I don't see anybody landing, though. Unless he landed on the road behind us. No, no, no. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, flat, check. Grass, check. Sounds like a runway to me. Good fixings, I agree with it totally. There can only be one Bayport, though, says JPC. Yeah, that's fair. Maybe next year I'll get up there and see it in person. Alright, back into the aircraft we go. Some stuff we can do to clean up the aircraft that we didn't do.
Traffic, landing on the ramp north of the field, malicious.
So, parking brake on.
Kentmoor traffic number 55264 down and clear of
Landing lights off, strobe lights off, pitot heat off. We'll make sure we're idling at least 1,000. Pop the windows. Get some fresh air in here for Freckles. I think that's it. Kind of just want to make sure I get enough RPMs to get that red light to go out, and it looks like we're good there. Alright, let's go over our predictions, guys, and see how we did. If I can find my snip. Yeah, there we go. So, the first entrant for this evening is going to go to whoever predicted closest to 95. How'd we do? Get 99 from Good Fixins. That's going to be tough to beat. 123, 80, and 115 are the other guesses. There you go. Good Fixins gets the first one. what's today? 24th? And what was the ID for Kentmoor 3 Whiskey 3? This is a public strip. It's not private. It's a community grass strip, very similar in use to Bayport. Yeah, it is open to the public. Been in existence since 1947. Alright, anyway. So, successful leg 1. Number 2 is going to be Kentmoor Manor down here at the bottom. Let's see what they have listed as far as their runway facilities. 7 Whiskey 8 is a 17 and 35. So let's plan on 35, guys, because the winds that were a couple of knots were mostly coming out of the north from what it seemed, even though some of us are probably not simulating those conditions exactly. But just to be consistent with real world, let's plan on 3-5. So that means we're going to depart to the west, turn southbound, and then that should basically put us on a left downwind. So that'll be another pretty short one there. Windsor Spitfire is here. Windsor Spitfire. Hello and welcome to the Slant Alpha channel. Flying the JP Logistics mod of the Cessna 152. Doing kind of a little hop down the Chesapeake Bay in my home state of Maryland, and we're touching a bunch of private and public strips. Grass, Derval, Grack and Derval. Yeah. I'm using my throat and yodel.
Traffic, 200 and climbing 500 malicious, clear the airfield malicious.
Anyway, so hitting a bunch of public and private strips, grass, dirt, gravel, paved, whatever we encounter along the way. We started at Bay Bridge Airport. We got a nice shot of how the Bay Bridge is rendered pretty nicely in the sim, although the traffic on it was a little screwy. But here we are at Kentmoor Airpark, and we're just about to continue southbound now to Kentmoor Manor. So for those of you playing the home game, you're now caught up. Let's go ahead and get ready to fly our second leg. We'll go up to takeoff flaps. We'll get our taxi light on. Parking brake off. Temps and pressure's looking good. Alright, and we're going to depart 28. So we're going to taxi out to our left. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's taxiing to runway 28 for VFR southbound departure, Kentmoor. Okay, and I'm going to taxi in the grass taxiway alongside, although I do not hear anybody inbound at this time. So, probably okay. I think it's high time to get a sip of the beverage. You can hear my voice starting to crack already. Alright, and the runway, yeah, I'm going to say that runway is what's north of us there. Alright, let's get ready to fly. Windows can come closed. Let's go taxi light off, strobes and landing lights on, pitot heat on. Takeoff flaps confirmed. And let's take every foot we got here. Go ahead and cut over toward the runway. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, departing runway 28. It's going to be a left crosswind, southbound VFR departure at Kentmoor. Okay, I think by the time we get to the road, that should signify that we're at the end of the runway. Both ways before crossing the street, everybody. Okay. Got all the lights done, windows closed, flaps set. Takeoff power set, let's go. Braden says, I just landed randomly in the grass, called it 28. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what was the runway exactly, but it's the surface that has the clearing before the bay. Got plenty of extra airspeed, so I'm going to go ahead and pitch up pretty aggressively here. We'll go ahead and get the flaps in. Kentmoor traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, cleared 28. And turning a left crosswind, leaving the area to the south, Kentmoor. Yeah, I don't think I landed on the runway either. I think I landed in the field next to the runway. It wasn't really well marked. I think in reality there would be cones and paint and stuff to tell you where the runway actually is. So we didn't have that in the sim here, so I kind of just made my best guess. And I don't think it was a very good one. But it's alright.
Okay, more traffic. Diamond 3410.
We're not too picky about that kind of stuff.
4.
Not on these trips. I mean, you got to make do with the scenery that you got, right? Just do your best with it. Well, no one's really too picky about it. So we're following the shore to the south, and the sim seems to be rendering some bridge that comes off the south of that peninsula. There is not one. I don't know if that's a land bridge or if that's a supposed to be a man-made bridge. In reality, there's neither there. But it's somewhere down on this peninsula that we are looking for our next destination of Kent Fort Manor. I'm going to kind of stay to the right because we want to end up on a left downwind for it. There's 1,000 feet. Let's level it. Let's drop some power.
Traffic,
I'm going to spin
I had the airport in my scenery. Entering a left downwind runway 35. I'll circle back to see if it's there, malicious one.
Alright, so there's my heading bug's now set to 3.5. This appears...
Kentmoor traffic, I'll be landing on the ramp if it is there, malicious one.
It's from the chart, it's looking like it's kind of like right in this little throat right here. So I maybe that's... Let's trim down, drop some power. Look out our left window and see what we see as we pass it. Kent Fort traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's left downwind, runway 17, Kent Fort. Could be that over there. I don't think that's long enough. Might be. I don't see anything that's yeah, I think it's supposed to be closer to us. I think it's supposed to be closer to us than that little mitten-shaped inlet there. So I think if I see this mitten-shaped inlet, it should be west of that. That still could be that. Maybe this here. Maybe that there. Or that there. This might be one that we don't have in ours either. I'm gonna take a look. Kent Fort, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's approximately overhead the field. We're going to circle around to the east and take another shot at spotting it, Kent Fort Manor. Well, said it was supposed to be west of that little mitten-shaped. So here's the little mitten-shaped one, and yeah, see that one's got a road across it. I mean, that's a nice big field there, but I don't see anything. Maybe, and I don't see anything marked on it that looks definitely runway-like. Yeah, nothing too airstrippy down there, says Ori. I mean, there are a couple I could probably make work. but nothing that's jumping out at me saying that it's definitely a intended to be a field. So I think I'm with Kenny. We'll probably just bag that one, and we'll continue on to Asplund, which is Mike Delta 64. Mike Delta 64. All right, so let's take a quick peek at what Asplund says it has to offer. A 14 and 32, 2600.
Northeast of the airfield, will be landing on the ramp. Malicious
So we'll look at runway 32 there. So I'll spin the heading bug down just a little bit.
3410 Whiskey, 2 to 3 miles northwest of the field. Gonna overfly midfield to the left downwind for the westbound runway, Kent Manor Ford, or Fort Manor.
At Kent Fort traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, 1,000 feet, overflying approximately where the field is. We're going to proceed south and east, leaving the area at Kent Fort. So yeah, we're officially calling off the search on that one, guys. We want to be on approximately a 140 heading, and then it's a 14 and 32. So that should put us, once again, kind of conveniently onto a left downwind here. So I'm going to turn to about a 150 heading, and I'm going to check that with the magnetic compass. Now, we have a tributary of the bay that comes up and kind of splits into almost like deer antlers, and Whitman is right in the kind of the Y, the mouth of the crossing of the Y there. So let's see if we can identify. Okay, so there's the little piece of land that seems like it's giving us the middle finger there. I think that's that. And we want to go due south of that, so somewhere right in here. I almost see, I mean, that's a dark strip of grass there that might be it.
Traffic, Diamond 3410, Whiskey turning left base, runway 35, Kent Fort Manor.
And I've picked up a little extra altitude. Yeah, I'm going to say that's a real good bet. It's at the right orientation, because I said it was a 14 and 32. It's right, if this is the Y that I was talking about, it's kind of right in the crux of it, the crotch of it. Right in the crotch of the Y. Why? Because we like you. And I do see it looks like someone else is there, so.
Kent Fort Manor traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, short final 36, session go, Kent Fort Manor.
Alright. Asplund Field, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is about 3 miles north and west. 1500 descending will enter a left downwind runway 32 Asplund. Alright guys, let's get some predictions into the chat. I got a yoke issue here. Let me slam this to the left real quick, and hopefully that smooths out the response. Sorry about that. Let's get some predictions into the chat as to the vertical descent rate upon touchdown. No bot command, just a number. Minus sign optional. And let's see who gets an automatic entry if you're the closest one.
Landed at the ramp. Malicious one.
Closest one above or below, automatic entry into our monthly landing rate raffle. Next drawing for October is actually 2 days from now, guys. And I got power out, starting to bleed airspeed, keeping it 1,000 feet. We can go ahead and get that first knock of flaps in.
Traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, left downwind 35, going to be the part of the area to the south east, Kent Fort Manor.
I can't tell if Stu landed there or not, but I didn't find anything. I mean, there were a couple places I probably could have made work, but nothing that I was sure was an airport. Not that that's ever stopped me before, but you know. It looks suspiciously like a wild goose chase, says Kenny Monster. Yeah, I don't know what it looked like in X-Plane. This one I think we've got. Now this one's still a little silly, as there is a road that kind of crosses it, so We're going to take this dark strip to be the runway, and yeah, the dark strip will be the runway, and this is clearly a hangar. I'm going to try and stop my roll, though, prior to where that road crosses, because I'm sure that's not going to be good on our pretend airplane. Unless the strip is... Yeah, that's all wooded. That's got to be a driveway there. Yeah, that's like a split driveway. There's trees all up and down it. Yeah, we're going to take that dark strip as our runway. Looks like I've picked up some extra altitude. Dark strip's the runway, but I'm going to try and stop short of the road. Ashland traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's on a high left downwind, runway 32, midfield, runway 32 at Ashland. Alright, let's get this thing back under control. Keep the predictions coming in. Last call is going to be when we turn base to final, which is going to be approximately not quite to this little squarish clearing here. Kenny says, I'm next to the runway. Yeah, it was appearing that way. I saw where you were sitting. It was appearing that you were next to the runway, but I couldn't tell if you were east of it or west of it. But that's okay. I'm gonna go for what is on my sim, a dark green strip, and we'll just go with that. Second notch of flaps coming in. Oh, airspeed's really, really low. Let's get back up to 60, guys. That's really poor discipline there for me to let the airspeed get that low. Asplin traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is left base to final, now runway 32 Asplin. Alright, now our airspeed's looking a little bit better. We can pull the power back down a little bit. Flaps 3 now, trim.
West, gonna enter left downwind runway 32, Ashland.
Keep that 60 knots. As we get the nose around, that dark strip should be... There we are. Yeah, so Kenny, if you're just west of the runway in your sim, then it's in approximately the same spot for us as it is for you. Oh, yeah, and you said that in the chat just now. So yeah, I think we're good. I think we're actually looking at the correct thing this time. We're gonna pull a little bit of power out. Looks like we're a touch high. Last call for the predictions has passed, so not in already. Type quick.
Traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, left downwind runway 32, Asplin.
And Asplin 514 Delta Victor's on a short final 32. Asplin. Oop, oop, oop. Yeah, pitch control was a little jittery because I was still making adjustments on my right hand. I wasn't doing my pitch adjustments with two hands as I should have been, so it was a little bit of wavering up and down. I'm glad we stopped short of that road, though. Timing would have been bad there. But yeah, okay, feeling good about that. That was overall okay, although the pitch, like I said, the yoke control was not very smooth, and the speed got really low on the downwind to base turn. So those are my two critiques on that landing. Otherwise, is what it is.
Traffic, Diamond 3410 Whiskey, left base, runway 32, full stop, Asplin.
And Asplin 514 Delta Victor is clear from runway 32 Asplin. And I saw Stu. He was I just saw him in that area, kind of making that base turn. Oh, I see him up here to the left.
Asplin traffic, Diamond 3410 Whiskey, short final runway 32, Asplin.
Alright, so we get down, Parking brake on. We'll get the throttle back up to 1,000. Oh, I haven't been using carb heat. I should be a little bit more disciplined about that. Landings and strobes and pitot off. Get the throttle up to 1,000. We'll get the windows open. And there's Mr. Stu making his landing. And he's in a diamond that is rendering as a Mooney, so... Oh, and flap stowed. I guess we can do that. Diamond that's rendering as a Mooney, so it is a single-engine low wing. So that at least is good. And Kenny, of course, we know is flying a helicopter that's rendering as that drone-looking thing. So I'm happy with the model matching so far.
On traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, clear the runway, Ashmont.
Braden says, I turned my engine off, can't turn it back on. I'll spawn back in at Bay Bridge. Okay, that works. I mean, you could probably spawn in at one of these locations. Asplund is Mike Delta 64. If not, maybe try Easton. It's just over here. KESN is pretty close. So KESN and just come over to us on Kent Island. So whatever you want to do, that's fine. Alright, anyway, let's talk about the winning prediction here. $109. Although the G's were a lot better than last time. 109 is the winning number. Let's see how we did. I got 99 from Good Fixes, 10 away.
Kenny. You just lost.
That's one closer than Braden, who said 120. That's 11 away. So it's Good Fixins again as of right now. Who we had Stu with 80, 87, 173, 103 from Peeble. That's going to be the one to beat. Yeah, it looks like it's Peeble, guys. Does that look right to you? 103 is the prediction. 109 is the actual. So it's 6 away. So it would have been it had to have been less than 115 on the high side, and I don't see any in that range. So I'm gonna say that it's Peeble with the 103. All right. Very good, very good. Peeble, welcome back to the contest. Gonna do the landing rate drawing on Wednesday, by the way. Alright, so we're at Asplund. It's Mike Delta 64. On 1024. And it's Peeble. Alright, there you go. That strip's now done. Fortunately, I do still have 6 more tickets over here. We said it was going to be 8 landings, and that was the 3rd. So 5 more landings to go. I've got 6 more tickets on hand. I got more in the closet, so don't worry. 6 more tickets in hand, and that allows for 1 tie if there was to be one, or a double entry if somebody gets 1 dead on. Alright, very good. Those of you who are new to the channel, by the way, we are a general aviation flying stream. We typically fly for you, or stream for you, rather. I don't say we fly every time, but we stream for you most often Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And that is going to be our schedule on Wednesday, when we actually will boot up as a tower controller somewhere within the Washington ARTCC. That's going to eliminate all this hardware from having to sit in front of me, and that will allow me to run our monthly raffles that we run every single month on this channel. The way those work, raffle number 1 is our Alpha Bits Points raffle. That's the one that you enter by virtue of those Twitch channel points at the bottom of the chat panel. As you accumulate those, they show up in that little button right next to the Alphabets serial icon, and you can click on that button. You get some options to redeem. 1,000 can be cashed in for 1 entry, 5,000 for 6 entries, so you can get a little more bang for your buck if you save up. However, with the drawing just 2 days away, I'll leave it up to you as to whether you want to try and hit that 5,000 or just cash in 1,000 at a time with whatever you have right now. Now, I will tell you, we'll do the drawing toward the end of Wednesday's stream, so you can maybe take a gamble and try and hit that 5,000 mark, get you 6 entries for the price of 5, but I'll leave that up to you. The landing rate raffle, we've seen now 2 times on the stream how the entries go for that. On Wednesday, we will draw one winner from the Alphabets Points Fishbowl and one winner from the Landing Rate Fishbowl. Each of the two winners gets their choice of any one item off of the Slant Alpha Prize Vault list, which is any of the stream merchandise, t-shirt, ball cap, mouse pad, coffee mug, or tote bag. I'll ship to you at my cost. Or if you don't want any of that crap, you can choose a Amazon.com gift card or an Xplane.org store gift card or a Sim Market gift card instead. We'll reset all the entries and then we'll start collecting them again for November. November's drawing is actually going to be on the last actual day of November. But we do the drawings toward the end of the month. We usually do them on a Wednesday where I do some air traffic control. Not always consistent, but anyway, yeah, so there's how that works. It's not Braden says you forgot to do the ad. I didn't forget. Twitch keeps a list for me. These are all the people that I owe tickets to right now. So I'll get to it, don't worry. I can actually take care of that right now. So Stu gets a set of 6. Yeah, it won't let me deduct your points until I click to confirm that I've actually done the action. So JPC gets 1. Braden gets 6. Rob Valkyrie gets 6. Good. Fixins gets 6.
Aspen traffic, 300 climbing, 500 proceeding direct, Philman Whip. Clear of the airfield, malicious 1.
That should catch me up with all the raffle entries. Acro Nerd is here. What's going on? Alright, so now if you guys do exclamation point TIX, that will tell you how many you have. If you do exclamation point, see, I do TIX, and then I have all that stuff that I add on the back end of it to add the tickets. You guys can't do that much as you probably would like to. But if you just do exclamation point TIX without anything else after it, it will tell you how many you've got in the drawing right now. And now that I've added all the ones that you've requested this stream, that is now up to date. So you can go ahead and give that a try. As for our flight, let's get back to that, guys, and see where we're heading next. We are going just 4 miles to the south and west to what is now Tillman Island. I think, or is Tillman Island... Is the actual Tillman Island further south, maybe? Smith Island is down here. No, this might actually be Tillman Island up here. Just west of St. Michael's. Yeah, it's a little town called Tillman, but I think Tillman Island... Or is Tillman Island this? I'd have to look on Google Maps to see for sure. I thought the actual Tillman Island, was further south. Like maybe one of these. And then there's Smith Island. That's where the famous Smith Island cakes are, but Smith Island got hit by a really... There's Tangier Island down here. Yeah, Smith Island got hit by a really bad tornado a couple months ago. They're going to be putting that back together for a long time. So I guess this is the actual Tillman Island. Okay, anyway. So we'll take off from Aspen, and we got a 14 out of 32 there. And then let's see what Tillman is. Tillman Whip Airport. Whip. Tillman Whip, if you want to pronounce it correctly. It is a 3 and a 2-1. Less than 2,000 feet in turf. So, okay, well, that's fine. It's a 3 and 2-1, so that, again, is going to put us kind of on a downwind as soon as we get rolling. So we're going to take off to the northwest, left crosswind, and that should put us just basically on a left downwind to runway 3. So that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. And you know, on this channel, everything goes exactly the way the coach drew it up on the chalkboard. Okie doke. Let's go. Before we go anywhere, let's make sure that, so we're parked at exactly a 135, and yeah, and that always tends to drift off a little bit, so we'll get that back on. We are on a 3-2, so I was kind of facing, I was facing down the runway because I wanted to watch Stu land. His landing looked pretty good, actually, by the way. Field elevation pretty much 0, and there we go.
Airport, I don't have in my scenery. I'm going to follow the shoreline and then proceed direct across neck, malicious 1, and 700 climbing 1000, malicious 1.
Alright, so Kenny Monster said X-Plane doesn't seem to have anything for Tillman Whip, so we'll see what we see in our sim. Parking brake is off. Taxi light is on. Flaps set for departure. Temps and pressure still looking good. Fuel still looking good. Asplund traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's taxiing out to runway 1. Correction, runway 32 for VFR southbound departure, Tillman. Asplund. Going to Tillman. I think we're in the rough, guys. Let's see if we can get back on the fairway. Alright, there we go. That looks a little better. Alright, back on the fairway. Let's get out the... Don't have to quite get out the pitching wedge for this one, but definitely not one of your long-range clubs here. What frequency are we on? We're always on the VATSIM Universal CTAF, which is 122.8.
Asplund traffic, Diamond 3410 Whiskey, taxi now runway 32, Asplund.
Alright, so we're at the end of the runway. We'll go ahead and button up. Freckles, you can button up. Get the strobes on, landing lights on, taxi light off, pitot heat on. Asplund traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor departing runway 32. It's going to be a left crosswind VFR southbound Asplund. Takeoff power is set. We got 40 knots. And I'm going to try and lift off before this little road here, guys. So 60. There we are. Okay, we're good. We're good. We got to make sure we get tree clearance here. Actually maintaining 60 while we clear these trees, so we're actually doing fairly well with that takeoff. Amazingly enough. Okay, good. Plenty of altitude, plenty of speed, flaps coming in. We'll go ahead and start our left crosswind turn. Asplund traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear 3-2, turning to the left crosswind, going to join the shoreline southbound, leaving the area, Asplund. Alright, so let me slam my yoke leftward again to clear up some of the jittery responses.
Asplund traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, take runway 32, VFR departure to the southwest, Asplund.
August the pilot says, hey, I'm going to join you guys as soon as X-Plane 12 updates. Awesome, man. Yeah, we're on the way from Asplund to Tillman Whip. Tillman Whip is 7 Mike Delta Niner. 7 Mike Delta Niner. If you don't have that, we're just south and west of Easton. K-E-S-N. If you want to spawn in there, you'll be able to catch up with us pretty quickly. We're doing a lot of takeoffs and landings tonight, but they're all in a very small geographical area. These are extremely short legs tonight. Alright, we'll pull the power off the red line. We'll trim up just a little bit. Gotta kind of just keep 1,000 feet there. Alright, and I feel like we look for this island to the right, just at the southern tip. Like if you were going to draw a line, whoops, across the southern tip, we should be dead center with that, come on now. Mouse is acting all goofy. Alright, so power down, trim down. Let's not do any more than 1,000. And again, we're kind of up in the armpit of this little water inlet here. Oh, and it's a 3 and 2-1. I haven't set the so I kind of turn to a 2-1, and let's put the heading bug on a runway 3. So I feel like it should be like right there, maybe, or here, here. Now this is another one that Kenny said he didn't have in his scenery. Oh, this might be it right here, actually. That is looking very suspiciously airstrippy. Three and 2-1. I should be perpendicular to it now. Yeah, I think that's got to be it. It's just before the land bridge that heads out to the east. Wonder if the TAC chart has even a better view of it. If there's like a little... I'm still picking up altitude. Now let's get going northbound. There's a little kind of a hammerhead shaped... Oh, hold on. A little hammerhead shaped thing, and it's just to the left of that. Alright, let me circle one more time here. And we'll circle at 1500 just to be clear of traffic in the pattern there. Tillman whip traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor circling, I believe we're maybe just a mile north and east, 1500 Tillman. Alright, so it looked like from the sectional, like on this east side, there was this little hammerhead shaped coastline, and it's just on the south side of that. So, almost like this is it here. And then there's another. Is there anything? Well, that.
Traffic, Diamond North Zero Whiskey, about 2 miles to the northwest. Are you planning to enter the?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's it there. This right there. Is it about a beam the south end of that other island? It sure is. Yeah, let's call it that, guys. Am I about on a downwind? Yeah, we'll do it. We'll call that. Tillman whip traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's on a high left downwind, 2000 descending. We'll overfly it west to east to 1,500, and then we'll maneuver for a 45 to left downwind. Correction. Disregard. We'll go out to the end of the peninsula to the south, descending 1,800 descending now. We'll come back on a disregard that plane. Alright, I'm stuck.
Cross-neck traffic north of the field, and we'll be landing on the ramp north of the
We're on a left downwind. Okay. Alright, Tillman traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor. We're going to go northbound along the shore. We'll then maneuver for the 45 to left downwind, runway 3 at Tillman. We'll be 1,500 northbound along the shore. Alright, yeah, I was getting my bearings confused, guys, because of the direction that we're coming in from it. Coming into it from.
Tugman traffic number 55264 going to overfly the field and try and find the runway, and then
So I'm coming out here,
we'll see it from there on
and from the north tip of Poplar, we'll join a 45 to left downwind. That's runway 3, so it's not even really going to be a 45. We'll come in from Poplar Island. We'll come back to the main shore. All right, let's do that. I saw someone pass just below us as well. Alright, so from Poplar Island, we'll cross back to the main part of the shore. That'll put us on the 45 to left downwind, runway 3. Okay, that's the plan. I feel better about it. Tillman traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's going to be at 1,500 south to north along Poplar Island. We'll cross back to the eastern shore on the 45 to left downwind, runway 3 at Tillman. Do we still have sight of whoever that was that came in behind us? Oh, nose is going up there. It's hard to steer the plane backwards. Does exactly the opposite of everything you think it should.
Traffic, landing assured, runway 1.
Alright, Kenny, take a break, man. We're gonna be a few minutes before we catch up with you. Yeah, I'm not sure what these straight lines are rendering for. There is not a.
If he's unable to locate the field, we'll go over and circle the town of May Event, Tillman traffic.
Tillman traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor. We're 1700 descending right on the north tip of Poplar Island, coming back to the shore side. We're going to enter a 45 to left downwind, runway 3 at Tillman. And we're 1500 descending to 1000 for the pattern entry, Tillman. Alright, so we'll proceed due east for rejoining the shore. Yeah, all y'all need to step out? Alright, fine. It's Mike. I'm going to need to step out after this one too, so that's fine. Seems to be the right time for it. You're a lemming, you're just following the crowd, the good fixins? Oh no, you're lurking. Gotcha, gotcha.
Tillman traffic number 55264, we've located the field. We are left downwind about runway 20. We're going to circle the field and then land on 20.
Gotcha. I think it's 2. I think it's 3 and 2-1 if I remember correctly. Alright, so now over the shore we'll turn south. Lots of uhs. Yeah, no, it happens, man. I mean, you heard my call earlier. It wasn't any better. I got halfway through a very confident call and then I was like, crap, that's not going to work. Alright, so it should be right on this peninsula. ST, yeah, Stu, if you're watching, if you come in from the north, there's this hammerhead, or this I don't know what you want to call that, but it's this little peninsula here where the field is. Alright, guys, start putting some predictions in. I think a few of you did already. Yeah, start putting some predictions into the chat as far as the vertical descent rate upon touchdown. No bot command necessary. Minus sign optional. Tillman whip traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's finally in a left downwind to runway 3 at Tillman whip. I didn't see anything that looked airstrippy enough. Yeah, this is a tiny little place. It does look to me like there's a clearing there, and some grooves, some dirt-like grooves worn into the grass here. I think that's what it's supposed to be right there. So we'll make the best of it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, and see that there's a dirt area that's cleared leading up to the runway, like, that might be cleared for aircraft to arrive over that little beach there. I think that's it. I'm landing 3, Braden. It's the wind was all kind of coming from the north, even though it was like there was barely any of it. So I'm landing runway 3. Our first notch of flaps is in. I'm gonna go ahead and pull power out because I'm beyond a beam the numbers and I'm a couple hundred feet high. So, and I'm also pretty close in on the downwind. So, when I turn, it's pretty much gonna be bang base final. So get your predictions in nice and early on this one, guys. Tillman whip traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's a left downwind extended over the marina. We're going to turn left base and final now, runway 3 Tillman. I'll go slow and along final and wait till you clear. Okay, I'm going to cut it in kind of tight here because of the way I set it up, so I shouldn't be too long. Second notch of flaps coming in, power's coming back. Let's see if we can get 60 knots going. Predictions, guys. Get them in.
Tubman traffic number 55264 on a 3-mile final runway 21. We're going to wait till the other aircraft is clearing the runway.
And Tillman with 514 Delta Victor's on 1 mile final or less, runway 3, Tillman. Alright, flaps are out. Speed's pretty good, 60-ish down final. Speed's getting a little low now. This is a really cool place, guys. Alright, let's get the power out. Alright, well, again, I'm not 100% convinced what's actually supposed to be runway here, but it doesn't look too bad. Definitely landable. And then I'll get out of the way. Not into the puddle. Tillman with traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear the runway to the west on the north side. Tillman.
Tillman traffic number 55264, 2 miles final, runway 21, Tillman.
It's rendering it blurry. That whole area was runway. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty smooth to me. Smoother than a lot of places that we've landed, so I'm not going to complain. And our friend should be coming in this way. I don't see him. Whoops. Let's, Go ahead and get the parking brake on. I saw a flash. I don't see anybody.
Traffic number 55264, short final, runway 21, Tillman.
Okay, well, we should be looking right at him then. Where is he? I hear somebody. He's not the other way, is he? No? Okay, there we go. I see him. I don't know. It looks a little floaty. Hope you get it stopped. But not too bad. Nice stable approach, it looked like. At least the last little piece of it that we could see. So that's good. It just landed in the right spot. That's probably the hardest part. Alright, anyway. Yeah, flaps can be stowed. Let's get the RPMs up to at least 1,000. So we're not just charging our battery.
Tubman traffic number 55264 is down and clear, runway 21, Tubman.
Yeah, nice job, man. Nice job. Glad you could join us today. Alright, so let's go. Yeah, pitot off, strobe off, landing light off, taxi light can come off, or whatnot. Okay. Flaps stowed. Yeah, carb we keep forgetting to use. No, it's so hard to judge these tiny little spots, man. You really don't know what you've got to work with.
I'm fine.
Don't know what you got to work with space-wise, so yeah, it's hard to judge. Freckles still doesn't look impressed. I guess she never does. She's just like, whatever. This guy he just won't shut up. He just keeps talking. Anyway, let's take a look at the predictions, guys. We'll get them recorded. I'll take a quick break out of the cockpit for some liquid recycling. We'll talk about the remaining stops on our trip. 78 when I finally got it down today. 78. Let's see what we got. Where were our predictions? We led off with Acronerds 85, which was 7 away. 120, 150, 115, 51. $130. So is that Acronerds, guys? Anybody closer than 7 away? So it was 78 to 85, so to be 7 away on the bottom end would have to be a 71 or higher. I don't think we had anybody else in that range.
It's not rigged, Kinney. You just lost.
Alright, so Acronerd with the 85 gets the entry. I'll do a real quick recap for those of you who might be new to the channel. We've got 2 raffles that we run on this channel every single month, and our October drawing is actually 2 days from now. So, the way you get in on these raffles. Raffle number 1 is our Alphabets Points raffle. Jonathan, yeah, you can't put the next prediction in until we're in the pattern at our next destination, so you'll have to hold on to that. We're good to see you back here, by the way. I haven't seen you in a while, I don't think. But anyway, so raffle number 1 is our Alphabets Points raffle. That's the one that you enter with your Alphabets Points. Those are the Twitch channel points, as we call them here on this channel. You got the Alphabet serial icon. You got the button next to that. That tells you how many of those you got. 1,000 are good for 1 entry. 5,000 gets you 6 entries. If you cash them in all at once, you got those 2 options. 1,000 for 1, 5,000 for 6. And you can do that as many times as you got enough points for. That's how you get in on the Alphabets raffle drawing. The landing rate raffle drawing, well, you just saw that. Acro Nerd is the one that I owe the ticket to. So Acro Nerd on 10/24. And let me write down the identifier of the airport that we are at. It is Tillman Whip. And I keep mispronouncing it. Tillman Whip. Tillman Whip. 7 Mike Delta Niner. So there you go.
Traffic 200 climbing 300 malicious one.
Alright, so there you go. And our rest of our itinerary tonight, we're going to come across, I did get the river right, the Choptank River that comes right here past the city of Cambridge. So we're going to cross the Choptank River. We do have one field out here to the north and east we're not going to stop at. Why? Because I don't think it was on the regular sectional. Nope, it's not.
Oh, wow. Disregard.
But, well, we got 3 more stops to hit out on the western, the little knob here that comes between the chop tank and the little chop tank. We got Ross Neck, we got Big Oak Farm, we got Ragged Island, and then we're going to finish the night at Cambridge Dorchester Regional Airport. Little paved strip right there along Route 50. Now, in Maryland, you know Route 50 really, really well because it's the main highway, US 50, that connects Annapolis. It comes across that Maryland Bay Bridge, Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and comes all the way down to Ocean City, Maryland. So if you vacationed in Maryland at any point during your childhood, you came back and forth on 50 a lot. And Cambridge is like 1 hour when you pass by Cambridge. And there's a Wawa and a McDonald's and an Arby's and a Taco Bell right here through this stretch. That's when you knew you were 1 hour to go. 1 hour remaining in your trip to head out to Ocean City. So this is a well-known area for those of us in the Maryland area, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit 3 airfields, 3 private airfields just west of Cambridge, and then we'll stop right there at the Cambridge Dorchester Airport for the night. But we're going to do all that after I come back from a liquid recycling break. Melvin Leroy stopped in. What is going on, sir? Let's come back and let's give you a nice view of Tillman Whip private strip as we go and Yeah,
Big Oak Farm, north of the field, landing on the
pretty
right.
happy with my default model matching so far. What's Braden, what are you flying type-wise here? What are you logging on as type-wise, Braden? I don't see in the list. This list scrolls so funny anymore. Oh, you know what? I'm being an idiot. Oh, I see you. Oh, you're not. You don't have a. You don't have a flight plan filed, so it's not. Doesn't have a type listed for you. Let's do this though. If I do .aircraft in vPilot. Whoops! If I spelled it right. I'm testing a new model match rule set that I've built myself here. Malicious one. Yes, EC45 is Delta Uniform. Southwest Southwest Sierra Whiskey. That's he's a diamond. It's being rendered as the Mooney. 6-4. Okay, so he's logged on as a Cessna 172, and he's being rendered as a high wing tricycle. Okay, that's good. That's good so far. And I'm just looking at the other types. Other types that are nearby, and I'm very happy with.
Big Oak Farm departing from
Very happy with what it's choosing. So, all right, I tell you what, Kenny Monster's getting ahead of us here. I'm going to take a quick break out of the cockpit for some liquid recycling, and we'll be back. We got some more flying along our river run, which is really kind of more of a bay run at this point. But we'll come back to it here in just a bit. We got 4 more stops to do, so sit tight, guys. Be back with you in a few.
Big Oak traffic, 250 feet, clear of the ramp, proceeding to Ragged Islands, land on the ramp there, malicious one.
Telegram traffic. Diamond Tree 41 Sierra Whiskey is going to be heading down direct to the destination of Cambridge, departing the area to the southeast. Telegram.
Ragged Island traffic, 400, timing 1000, clear of the north, easy, delicious one.
All right, back with you. Hello, hello. It's our river run, which has kind of turned into a bay run. Going down the Chesapeake Bay, which is a giant body of water that we've been staring at most of the evening so far. And we're in the JP Logistics mod of the Cessna 152. This series, called River Run, we come back to once or twice a month. And this is our second season, if you will. We chose the Susquehanna River as our season of River Run. It started up in Cooperstown, New York, and we followed it all the way down to where it dumps off into the top end of the Chesapeake Bay. And we decided, why end it there? We'll just keep following the bay down. Pardon me, guys. My throat's really scratchy tonight. I do apologize. But we started the evening here at Bay Bridge Airport, right where the Chesapeake Bay Bridge crosses. Now, of course, there's a second Chesapeake Bay Bridge down here further to the south that we'll actually probably see before the series is over. But this is the one just east of Annapolis, Maryland. But have been progressing south along the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay, kind of west of the city of Easton, Maryland. And we're at Tillman Whip Airport, and we're going to take off, kind of follow a 170 to Ross Neck. Should we just go ahead and add this one in, guys? Let's go ahead and add this one in. Why not? I didn't include it. Remiked out the 8. I didn't include it in the original itinerary because if you switch to the regular World VFR, it's not actually on the regular VFR sectional, but it is on the TAC chart, the terminal area chart. So we'll, in order for them not to feel left out, should they happen to stumble across the stream and be like, "Hey, I know I'm just a random farm owner in Dorchester County, Maryland, but I happened to find a Twitch live stream of a guy who was pretending to fly an airplane around all these fields, and he bypassed our field." Well, I don't want them to be upset, so we'll land here. I don't know if it's Pockety or Pokety or Poketai. I don't know what it is supposed to be. We're gonna go Pokety. Pokety Field. So that'll be our next one. Let's see. What's that put us on? A 145 for 10 miles. Right down the center of the chop tank, and then this little outcropping right before we get to the city of Cambridge. And if I right-click on that...
Dorchester traffic, Diamond Tree 410 Whiskey, about 6 miles to the northwest.
An 18 and a 36, so it's north and south. 2,700-foot turf. So we'll see how well we are able to see it. That'll be our next destination. So again, adding one, kind of calling an audible. We deleted one earlier that we couldn't find. Let's see if we can add one now. Again, Pokety is what I'm going to say. You guys can pronounce it however you like. 3 Mike Delta 8 is the identifier, and that's where we're going to go. So we're going to depart runway 3. We'll do a right crosswind and leave the area to the southeast. That'll be our plan. Looks like a helicopter seems to have found its way back to us. Probably Kenny Monster got bored of being 3 stops ahead of us. Of course, now we've changed the itinerary anyway. So we're going to taxi out to the right, depart out to the left. Braden's heading to Mike Delta 04 and then Cambridge. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, you guys that are flying along, don't feel obligated to stay behind me. Don't feel obligated to do the same legs that I am. You know, it's VATSIM. Go where you like. You don't need to be dictated by what I'm doing. So we're parked at a... There's 90, there's 100, so there's 11, so we're parked at like a 109. So let's just make sure our directional gyro is matched up with that. Looks like it's off by about 10-11 degrees. Again, this is a runway 3, so we'll set that there. And then we're going to land 36 when we get down to Polk-D. It looks like our flight path is going to pretty much put us right on that 45 to left downwind. We'll just need to kind of stay at 1,000. So, runway 3, right crosswind. And if that's a 36, then that should kind of put us right on that 45 to the left downwind, runway 36 at Polk-D. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. As always,
Cambridge traffic, malicious 1, about 5
the
miles
fuel's
west
good,
of
temps and pressure's looking good. We'll set flaps for departure.
malicious 1.
Parking brake is off. Taxi light is on. I wasn't unfortunately paying attention when Kenny was just advising his intentions, but I'll scooch up to the runway here. I'm going to pivot a little bit so I can kind of get a gander at who's doing what. All right, I don't see anybody to the north. Okay, and there's Kenny hovering there.
Traffic, traffic, malicious 1.
That's Kenny's at Cambridge. Okay, so this isn't Kenny. So I'm not sure who this is.
At about your 4 or 5 o'clock, malicious 1.
Tillman whip traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is taxiing out to runway 3 for a right crosswind VFR southeastbound departure, Tillman whip. So we'll kind of just stay to the right of where we think the runway is. I do want to not get stuck in these like little swampy tar pits or whatever the heck these are.
Dublin traffic, number 55264, holding short 21 for the departing traffic on 03.
You can go ahead.
Camper Store, Chester.
Roger that, thank you.
Diamond Street, 10 Whiskey left base runway 34, Cambridge.
Alright, so we got traffic. He's using the field in the opposite direction that we are. So we'll just make sure we're kind of out of the way here. And if we pivot around, maybe see what he's up to. And again, I don't kind of... Oh, there he is. Okay. So Braden's the one that's on the runway.
Traffic, Diamond 10 Whiskey, turning final.
Dublin traffic, number 55264, departing runway 21, Dublin.
Alright, so he's going now. Okay, so we'll do our final landing, the departure checks. Matter of fact, we haven't done a run-up in a while. We'll go ahead and do that real quick. We're running RPMs up to 1700. I'm going to cycle the mags from both to just the left side. It would drop about 75 RPMs, back to both, we recover. Down 2 clicks, we recover, we lose about 75 RPMs again. And recover. Okay, we are good. Hillman whip traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor. Departing runway 3, we're going to go right crosswind southeastbound VFR, Tillman whip. We'll button up the windows.
Dublin traffic, number 55264, departure.
Strobes. Landing lights, taxi light off, pitot heat on. And takeoff power is set, and away we go. 40 knots.
Open traffic, number 55264 is clear.
60 knots.
Southeast departure to...
Of course, we aimed right for the tallest tree. But we got up and over okay, so now we can lower the nose and get that airspeed back up. Start turning that right crosswind, and again, I think we said, what, about a 150? Pitch down, get that speed up to 60 knots. Plenty of altitude, plenty of speed. We'll go ahead and get the flaps in. Again, we'll trim the nose down. Okay, airspeed's coming up nicely now, so now we can pitch up and get some altitude under us. Tillman Whip, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear runway 3 on the right crosswind, southeastbound, leaving the area, Tillman Whip. Alright, so we got 150 on the heading thereabouts. And I'll show you, excuse me, I'll show you on the tack chart that our visual navigation is lining up with what we intended to do here, so all good. I'll pull the power off the red line just a touch. And we're almost up to 1,000, and I'm not really going to plan for any more than 1,000 because I think we're only doing a 10-mile leg, and we're going to end up in a pattern for northbound runway. Alright, so leveling it out at 1,000. Just kind of slowly trimming it. Going to nudge the nose a little bit to the right to stay on the 150. We kind of came down this little peninsula here that's right here on the tack. Right over the town, and so we went north and then kind of down over the town of Nevitt, right on that little peninsula there, and so that's lining up with what we are intending to do. It looks like we're going to stay to the right of the rest of the land masses there, and again, this is not really a bridge. There's no bridge there. Stay to the right of those land masses, and we'll look for one that kind of comes out from the right-hand side, and that's going to be where our next one there is. Pokey. Mouth of the Choptank River, which comes off of the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay. Okay, we've...
at 500 feet, eventually departing to the west, Pockety.
Pockety is what he's going with? Okay, that's fine. But picked up about 500 extra feet, so I'm going to go ahead and trim down. We'll pull a little bit more power out. Alright, Kenny's going to duck out for some food, for some food rather. So yeah, thank you for flying along with us tonight, man. Thank you for helping me test my G-Game model match. I know there is a rule out there that's being passed around, and I kind of came up with my own, and I finally got it ready to test, and someone tells me someone beat me to the punch. But so far, mine seems to be doing pretty well. All you guys in helicopters are being rendered as that drone thing. However, okay, so what I think I'm passing now, got this little hook-shaped one here. I'm either passing this first hook or the second hook. Maybe, well, that's the second hook, I guess. Yeah, so up ahead to the left, this waterway is probably what they call the Tread Avon, according to this chart at least. And the little town of Oxford, which I've never heard of, in Oxford in Maryland, but apparently that's where we are. We're going Pockety? Okay, I'll go Pockety. I'll call it Pockety if you guys want to call it Pockety. Alright, so there, we're back at 1,000. I'll go ahead and add some up trim, a little bit of power. And so what I'm looking for is a curved landmass that's got like a little bit of an eyebrow to it. And then the field should be kind of right there on the eastern shore of that knob. So I'm thinking this is what we're looking at here, and the field should be right around where my arrow is. And then up ahead, there's another outcropping from the left. Okay. Which should be that. Yeah, I think this is all lining up with what I believe I'm seeing. And there's a water that kind of comes around it and hooks back toward us. And if I look at the chart, there's water that comes around it and hooks back toward us. So yeah, it's got to be right there. Whoops. Oh, that's a... Okay, that should put it back where it was. Sorry, guys. So it's got to be this here, maybe. That's looking very suspiciously airstrippy. So I'm going to cut back down here to the south. Pockety Field, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is entering a left downwind runway 36 Pockety.
Pocket traffic, helicopter 145 to the uniform is 2 miles to the north, inbound for landing, Pockety.
Yeah, I was trying to drag my map back over there, Acronerd, and I grabbed the window in the stream, what do you call it, the stream scene? I grabbed the layer of the stream scene and started jacking that around, so I apologize for the violent maneuver that probably looked like. But fortunately, I was able to control Z out of that mess. I would say that is an obvious airstrip right there, guys. So I'm going to turn in. Right kind of where that curve changes direction. The curve in the waterway thickens and changes direction. Pockety traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is now left downwind midfield for runway 36 at Pockety. I guess that makes more sense than Pokety. Pokety just, it's even hard to say. When in doubt, undo out. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you guys can start putting some predictions into the chat regarding your prediction of the vertical descent rate upon touchdown. No bot command necessary on this channel for that. Just a number into the chat, positive or negative. Minus sign's even optional. We are going to descend onto this runway. We are not going to climb on it. So whether you put the minus sign or not, we know what you mean.
Roughneck traffic number 55264 turning final runway 27 Roughneck.
We'll go second notch flaps now. A little bit of power to counteract the drag. And we're going to go ahead and let some altitude come off. Pockety traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, left downwind, the left base runway 36 Pockety. Nope, no price is right. Over or below, closest either way. I know that I do resemble Drew Carey, but we don't employ those rules here. I wish I resembled Drew Carey. I wish my bank account resembled Drew Carey's bank account. Let's put it that way. No, it's closest in either direction, Larry, but welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Did I turn a little short? Yeah, I did turn a little short. Alright, last call. Pockety traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's modified left base to final now, runway 36 Pockety. Alright, we got the full flaps, 60 knots, so we're looking good there. Get the alignment sorted out, and then we'll be good.
Roughneck traffic number 55264 is down and clears the field. Roughneck.
There we go. There we go. Now we're lined up. A little high. Drop the power and let the altitude fall out from under us. Watch the airspeed. Bring a little power back in. I'm gonna clear these trees and then kind of let it drop on. I think we got plenty of space though. I think we're okay here. Speed's a little low. Little touch of power into the flare and then we'll let it drop in. That one was nice. I was happy with that one. Very happy with that one. Not floaty, but it certainly did not slam it down there. And really light. I'm barely even braking. We got plenty of room to let this one roll. Don't you agree, Freckles? Let's look both ways before crossing the street. However, okay. We'll clear off to the east side of the field and we'll get ready to head back. Alright, parking brake is on. Pito's off, strobe's off, landing lights off. We'll get the RPMs idled up to at least 1,000. By the way, for those of you who might not understand why I do that, the discharge, the alternator, the battery discharge warning will come on if you're not idling at least 1,000, because that's the point at which the alternator is producing enough juice to keep the battery charging rather than uncharging, gaining charge rather than losing charge. Red light comes on when the battery is losing charge, so that happens anytime you're idling under 1,000, or if I were to shut the alternator off, that would do it as well. Alright, we are down. Let's pop the windows and get some fresh air. It's tight quarters, especially with a guy my size. God bless Freckles for hanging in. Excuse me, for hanging in there. Whew. Braden landed on the completely wrong field. Well, that's fine, man. It's not like that's never happened in this series to me before, so it's part of the hazing ritual that is the river run. Freckles is a trooper. P-Mole says, yeah, she is. She really is, and she's a platonic friend, guys. That's all she is. She's not terrible bad to look at, but platonic friend, and you know I got to keep reminding myself of that because my wife is like one room away. Anyway. So August the pilot says X-Planes Rosneck is about 1.5 miles from Microsoft Flight Sim 2020's Rosneck. Yeah, well, don't forget, I don't know if you caught it, but I added this stop 4 miles to the northeast. Okay, but you're talking about Rosneck, which is our next one. Okay. Anyway, here we are. We're up at Pockety, and there's a helicopter flying over, or by, or near. Again, I'm happy to see that the helicopters are rendering as that drone-looking thing, but that's at least better than rendering as a caravan. She loves a dude into VORs. Yeah, well, like I said, the love is not mutual, except we love her as a friend. Anyway, yeah, rambling on, aren't I? There was a couple other messages that I wanted to come back and... But Braden's going to duck out. Bob Barker is the one true Price is Right host. X-Winger says, yeah, no, completely agreed on that one. Let's come back and look at the predictions. Oh, wow, I do see we got one dead on. So speaking of Price is Right rules, $1,000 bonus. No, I'm kidding. It's double ticket entry, though. So there's 74. Which I see at least one of. Yep, Akron Nerd had it. Couple in that range, 120, 68, 69, 67. You guys were all kind of right there.
It's not rigged, Kinney. You just lost.
But Acroner gets double entry and also got the most recent entry there at 7 Mike Delta 9er. So where are we now? Pockety is 3 Mike Delta 8. And Acro Nerd 1024. 3 Mike Delta 8 1024. All right. So we got still 4 stops left to go, even though I said that at the last leg because we kind of did a little itinerary amendment. But next up is Rosneck, Mike Delta 04. Depart northbound off of Pockety. Let's see what Rosneck has for us. Right click and open that up, see what it says. 1,700 foot turf on a 9 and 2.7. So let's just see, like, what's Cambridge reporting the latest. So let's, if it's reporting like 320 at 4, something like that. So let's land on 2.7. But what that means is we're going to be coming in. At a strange angle to do a 2.7. So what we'll do, and if we overfly north to south, and we come out here to Ragged Island, you know, that should be a good point to go. 45 left downwind. So that's, yeah, we'll want to be careful though that we make calls to those airports so that we're not impeding on any traffic there. But anyway, that'll be our plan. We'll take off Pockety. It's 3-6. We'll go left downwind and then kind of southwestbound. And matter of fact, more westbound really, because we're going to overfly north to south at 1,500. We'll go out to the west, and then we'll come in on a 45, left downwind, left base, and final to runway 27. All right, sound like a plan? All right, underway we go then. Parking brake is off. Taxi light is on. Flaps set for departure. We'll keep the windows open just for now. Pockety traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor taxiing out to runway 36 for a VFR southwestbound departure, Pockety. We got the fat bunny rabbit kind of looking away from us up there. All the other ear evaporated. Now it's just giving us the finger. Alright, well that's rude. I don't even want to talk about what I see over here. Alright, we ready to depart, friends? Let's go. Let's button up winder number 2, winder number 1. Strobes, landing lights, taxi light off, pizza heat on. Pockety traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor departing runway 36. It'll be a left downwind, southwestbound departure, Pockety. Temps, pressures, and fuel all looking good.
Farm traffic, helicopter 220 Romeo Papa is overhead to the airfield and making a full stop landing.
Takeoff power set. Away we go. Airspeed's coming up nicely. I'm going to jog a little bit to the left on takeoff to get past that tree there that we're heading straight toward. Plenty of airspeed. Yeah, I got plenty of altitude too, actually. So we'll level the wings. We'll let the altitude and the airspeed come up. Since we got lots of extra speed going, we'll go ahead and get those flaps in. We'll start the left crosswind and downwind turn. Pockety traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear 36, starting the left crosswind, and join the left downwind, then VFR south westbound. Pockety. Iowa Scotsman is here. Alright, so where we wanted to kind of really head almost more straight west, I think. Because we definitely want to come over Rossneck north to south. And we want to come over it at 1500. So to do that, I think if we see this Y-shaped landmass here, that's kind of going to be the point where we cut south, and then we're going to see this longer tributary that we're going to follow, and we're going to stay to the left of. So we'll cut to the south before that peninsula, and we'll keep this tributary over to our right as we pass north to south over the field. Looks like I'm already past that tributary, so I'm going to turn. Or maybe that's this one. And there's a couple of them. I think... Yeah, I think maybe this is the one I was looking at. And Rossneck's somewhere in here, possibly that I'm pointing at. What did we say? It's a 9 and 27. So wait a minute. If it's 27. Well, let's just make sure I am indeed pointed at a 24 right now. Probably about 10 degrees off. Okay. Alright, well we'll take a look here as we come down. There's kind of a curved waterway to my left, which is this, and a straight waterway to my right, which is that. So Rossneck really is kind of right below us, I think. Between them, almost at the top end of this little baby peninsula here, or this little baby waterway, right? So look at this. This little baby waterway comes up, and the field's just north of that. So, I mean, is it supposed to be like that? I don't know. Can't. Oh, yeah, it's that right there. Okay, we'll level it out. And we're gonna land the way we're coming south, and so we're gonna explain this as best as I can. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go straight out. We're gonna go down here, then we're gonna turn around to do a 45, and then the left downwind, and then the base, and then the final. So let's trim down. Rossneck traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is overflying the field north to south. We're at 1800 descending. We'll maneuver down to the south and west or right over Ragged Island, and then we'll join the 45 to left downwind to 27 at Rossneck. So obviously we're redlining the engine. Thank God it's a rental.
Baltimore traffic, American 2799 and an A319 coming out of 8,600.
EL says, I wonder if those grass fields are for rich guys with the plane, just have their house and go directly to the hangar. Yeah, I don't know. I know that down here on the far eastern shore, down there where I am near the Atlantic coast, there's a lot of actual crop dusting that still goes on. Like real actual crop dusting. I've seen a little low-wing yellow aircraft, like an antique low-wing yellow aircraft that I wasn't able to identify, and a yellow biplane. Both of them work this area pretty regularly. It's really awesome to see. I didn't know that crop dusting... I knew that crop dusting was still a thing, but I didn't think it was that common a thing at anywhere near me. Okay, there's Ragged Island right there. Ragged Island airstrip, I can see it plainly. So we'll know what that looks like coming back to it. But yeah, I had no idea. Living up near a suburban metro area, I had no idea that crop dusting was still done so commonly as it is down in the area I live in now. So that's really awesome. I'll drive to work and I'll just get buzzed by a biplane or a antique low wing. Really, really cool. Possibly an air tractor and an ag cat. Well, when I get down, I'll pull up those pictures and I'll tell you, Acronerd. But yeah, big old rumbly radials, both of them. They do spraying for mosquitoes. Yeah, these were working field. These were working crop fields. A lot of corn in this area. So from, let's see, from Ragged Island, I wanted to go north and east. And then I got to pick up my field. I kind of lost sight of my field here. What was it? I said it was kind of at the top end of that little baby. Waterway, it's got to be right here, right? It's right in here somewhere. Rossneck traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's on the left. Downwind, runway 27, Rossneck. I see it, I see it, I see it. I'll show you in a minute. Right here, guys, right here. Alright, let's get some predictions in for your guesses as to the vertical descent rate upon touchdown for my arrival here at Rossneck. No bot command necessary, just a number into the chat, positive or negative is all you need. We know in either case that you mean a descent rate. I have yet to figure out how to climb onto a runway, guys. Even if I did it inverted, that's still descending, so... We know, without the minus sign, we know you mean that I'll be descending onto that runway at that many feet per minute. So this little hook-shaped lighter patch is where I'm going to kind of make my turn. Rossneck, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's midfield now on that left downwind runway 27, Rossneck. Second knot of flaps coming in. Let's drop a little bit more power. Start losing just a touch of altitude. And there's that property I was talking about as my turn-in point. Oh, yoke's getting a little jittery, so let me slam it back and forth real quick. Rossneck traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's in the left base now, and we'll be turning final runway 27, Rossneck. Get that last notch of flaps in. Oh, I'll do the car beat this time, just for a change of pace. All right, third notch of flaps. We're looking for 60 knots. I feel like I probably overshot the turn. I don't see it readily though. Okay, undershot the turn slightly. We're okay though.
Baltimore traffic, FedEx 5681.
Last call.
About 20 miles.
Last call for the predictions, guys.
Runway
So flaps full.
Baltimore traffic, American 4799, A319, just established now, 33 left. We'll stop, Baltimore.
Roger, we have the inbound traffic site.
We're a little fast, a little high, a little fast, so I'm going to kind of chop power and see how much we can safely get off these last few feet here. This is a little tight. Alright, we'll add a touch of power back in now. We're on as good of a profile as we're going to get with this tactical situation we're dealt with. A little left of the intended center line, but at this point we got to get it down. Yeah. Okay. It wasn't too bad. Felt like we were starting to run out of runway, but we got plenty. Fortunately, I got brand new brakes on this thing. Alright, flaps stowed, carb heat off. Rosneck traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor. Should clear the runway. We're taxiing north of the runway on the field here, not Rosneck. We'll park over here by the bush. Anybody got to go? Alright, parking brake on. Landing light strobe pitot off. Get the throttle up to 1,000. We'll pull the windows. Don't shoot into the prop, says EL. Yeah, that's good advice. Set flaps for departure just so I don't forget. Temps, pressures, fuel still looking good. Okay. Alright, so let's see how we did with the predictions for that arrival here at Rosneck. Well, you showed me yours already, so I'll show you mine. Speaking about peeing in bushes. 103 was the winning number, 103. How we do, guys? How we do? We got a 68, we got a 99. That's pretty close there. Good fixings. Let's see if anybody beat you.
It's not rigged, Kinney.
71,
You just
69,
lost.
87, 112. Okay, so 112 is what? 112 is 9 away. Good fixings with the 99 is 4 away. We got a 52, a 173, a 36. Yep, that's going to be good fixings with that one. Alright, nice work, sir. Good fixins. On 1024, and where is this place again? Excuse me. Rosneck is Mike Delta 04. Alright guys, welcome. If you have not been to the stream before, it's called Slant Alpha Adventures. We fly mostly stuff that doesn't have RNAV capability. You notice no GPS or any kind of flight management computer, obviously, in this plane. But tonight, we're not even really navigating by any instruments except for the ones that are built into our eyeball sockets. And we're comparing what we see with our eyeball sockets out here with the chart. You noticed earlier that I was talking a lot about certain tributaries and trying to find certain little coastline shapes and matching them up. We did see this Ragged Island airstrip earlier. So yeah, just kind of comparing any reference we've got on the chart, a town, a coastline, or a tower, a bridge, you know, over here. Anything you got on this chart that you can use to corroborate your position with. That's what visual navigation is all about, what they call pilotage. You think pilotage is actually flying the plane. Well, no, pilotage is knowing where you're flying the plane. And specifically knowing where you're flying the plane just by virtue of comparing what's on the map with what's on the ground below you. Anyway, we are at Rosneck, a private strip here on the eastern shore of the Chesapeake Bay. We're going to continue on. We've got 3 more stops to make tonight. We're going to stop at Big Oak Farm out here on the Chesapeake Bay coast. We'll stop at Ragged Island, which we passed over not too long ago. We'll pass right by Chris Rock and try not to slap him. And then we'll land here. Oh, Christ Rock, sorry. And then we'll... Christ Rock and Church Creek, a very religious area here. And then we'll end the night at Cambridge Dorchester Regional Airstrip, just west of this prohibited airspace, I'm sorry, restricted airspace associated with the Patuxent Naval Air Test Center down there in southern Maryland. So all flat around my home state tonight. This series, what we call River Run, started as a trip down the Susquehanna River from Cooperstown, New York, all the way down through central New York, central Pennsylvania, and Susquehanna River dumps out right in the top end of the Chesapeake Bay, and then we decided, well, we'll just keep it going down the bay. Even though it's called River Run, we'll make it a bay run. And so tonight's episode started at Bayport Airport, winding our way down the eastern shore of the Chesapeake in my home state of Maryland, and 3 more stops for you tonight. We typically fly for you, or we typically stream for you Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have 2 monthly ongoing raffles that we do every single month on this channel. So if you're new to the channel, please don't miss your opportunity to join in on those. Raffle number 1 is the Alphabets Points raffle. That's entered by virtue of the Twitch channel points there at the bottom of the chat panel, the Alphabets serial icon, and the button next to that that tells you how many of those you have. You got good fixins. Yeah, guys. Well, you know, Freckles is just a platonic friend, but yeah, you can keep her name out you Monday to Friday mouth. Anyway, Alphabets points. Where were we? Oh yeah, you have some, and you can tell how many by hitting the little button next to the Alphabet serial icon at the bottom of the chat panel. That will give you some options for cashing those in as well. 1,000 for 1 entry, 5,000 for 6 entries. We do a drawing every single month on this channel. Our next one happens to be 2 days away. October the 26th is when we'll do our October Alphabets and landing rate winners. Acro Nerd is due a ticket. Tickets, please. And who else? Fizdo is cashing in tickets. Oh, and he's also watching. Alright, there you go. So that's how that is done, guys. And exclamation point ticks right by itself. TIX, Tango, India, X-ray.
Next traffic station air 114 with Papa, departing runway 27 straight out departure to the west.
We'll tell you how many of those you have. Now, you are a stationaire there, Whiskey Papa, a.k.a. Not Bad Fixins. And you are indeed rendering as a 172-ish. You're a you're a tricycle high wing, so I'm happy with that. Okay, very good. Alright, so we talked about how to get tickets for our Alphabets Points raffle. Getting tickets for our... You know what? That screen is still not right. Anyway, alright, that's... Okay, I guess it's right. I guess it's fine now.
Farm, station air, 114 Papa, about 1.5 miles to.
Right, so you know how to enter the raffle for the Alphabets points. If you want to enter the raffle for the landing rate, you figured that out probably when we were in the pattern for this airport. So now you know how to enter those raffles. The Wednesday drawing is going to choose one winner for each of those, and each of those 2 winners is going to get their choice of any item off of this Slant Alpha prize vault list. If you choose any of our merch, I'll send it to you at my cost. It's the t-shirt, ball cap, mouse pad, coffee mug, or tote bag. And if you want an electronic gift card, we'll send you that electronically. And you can choose either Amazon.com or the xplane.org store or simmarket.com as your prize, if that's what you'd like to do. You're trying to tell me you're bored? All right, we'll get going. Parking brake is off. Taxi light is on. After both of those drawings, by the way, we reset all the entries, and that way the folks that are going to get in on the November raffle, especially if they're new to the stream, still have a fair shot at getting a winning entry in. We always reset each drawing after the winners are chosen, just to keep it fair for the new folks. Where are we? Ross Neck traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's taxiing out to runway 36 for a VFR westbound departure, Ross Neck. Oh, one thing I didn't do.
Big Oak Farm traffic 114 pops clear of the runway.
What's the situation there?
Big Oak Farm.
It just says east-west, 1,600-foot turf. This is not a big place. This is going to be fun. So we're going to depart Ross Neck. Depart Ross Neck, go 2 miles west. I do want to probably do a lap around the pattern and then land on the westbound runway. You know what? I'll tell you what. The wind's calm enough at this point. We'll just do a left downwind to the eastbound runway. That'll be easy enough. So depart north, left crosswind, and we'll land on the eastbound runway. We'll attempt to land on the eastbound runway at least. Alright, button up the windows. Pitot, strobe, landing lights. Temps and pressure's good, fuel good. Ross Neck traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's departing runway 36. There'll be a left crosswind, westbound VFR departure, Ross Neck. Keep having to glance over to the chart to see the name of the airport. I can't remember Ross Neck for some reason. Alright, there we go. The nicely manicured part. Again, we're going to jog to the left to avoid the tree at the end, because Flight Sim 2020 just loves to put tall trees right at the end of these grass runways. And 60 knots. Okay, let's go. Alright, we cleared the obstacle land. Let's get the nose down. Oh, Ross Neck was west? I think I was saying that was north. Yeah, that was a westbound with straight out. Okay. So we want to stay straight out. Ross Neck traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's clear on the runway VFR westbound. Ross Neck, clear 27. Big Oak Farm traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is going to enter a left downwind for the eastbound runway, Big Oak Farm. Yeah, leftbound. No, I didn't, but I might as well have for all of the accurate information it conveyed. We took off from Bay Bridge. Yeah, we did, back at the beginning of the stream about 2.5 hours ago. We're now a little bit further south. We're looking for Big Oak Farm, which I think is this chunk down here on the left-hand side. Right here on the... Yeah, that's going to have to be it, but there's not much there, is there? Okay, so here's what the actual runway is. Big Oak Farm traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, to the high left downwind. Entering, midfield left downwind for the eastbound runway, Big Oak Farm. Alright, let's chop power. Carb peak can come in. We're already at flaps 1 because I'm an idiot. Get some predictions in for our landing rate, guys. Number into the chat, positive or negative, representing your best guess as to the vertical descent rate upon touchdown. No bot command necessary, just a number, positive or negative. And we're going to be kind of on the verge of stalling this one. I'm going to really need to come in nice and slow. So 60 knots is going to be, yeah, well, I'm already I'm already slow. I'm too slow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nose down. Get the speed back up to about 60 for now. Now let's turn to base. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's a left base for the eastbound runway, Big Oak. Keep those predictions coming, guys. Last call is going to be when I'm lined up for final, so. Which I've just overshot. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor. We're 1,000. We're going to just do a left-hand circuit. We're on the upwind leg for Big Oak. Alright, so that was probably the sloppiest pattern I've flown in a long, long time. Where are we now? We're at flaps 1. Got traffic up ahead. That's probably the helicopter. We'll stay at 1,000. I'm going to extend upwind. So as we come down over the beach here, what do we have? It's right where this strip of beach ends is the runway. And there is, a little road there. We'll have to touch down past that little road. At Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor over top of helicopter traffic below. Now turning northbound on the left crosswind, runway 27, Big Oak. Actually, the helicopter's probably still parked at Roughsneck. That's how close we just were. Okay, so this is setting up a little better here. We'll do the downwind right across the northern tip of the peninsula here. And we'll set it up a lot more, sensibly, but I am going to shoot for a little bit slower. We're going to try and get down to closer to 50 knots this time, so concentration's really going to have to be up on this one. I apologize, I'm going to be ignoring the chat, but do continue to get your predictions in. Speed's coming down, we'll go flaps 2. Alright, we are now on the downwind. There's our field. Just over the where the strip of beach ends, it's just over top of that, maybe a little bit to the right. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's on the left downwind for the eastbound runway, Big Oak. Okay, speed's nice at 60 right now. Flaps 2 out of 3 in at the moment. Speed's dropping to 50. I'm going to put some power back in. Get a nice gentle descent going. Just past the eastern tip, we're going to go ahead and turn base. How do you feel about just the tip, guys? And by that I mean, you know, 15%. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's on the left base now to the eastbound runway, Big Oak. Okay, it's just east of the where that beach is. Let's keep bringing the power down. Flaps 3 now in. And we got a lot of altitude to lose on this base before we really square off that final. Carb heat is in. Okay, we're not doing bad pattern-wise. I do need to get some power back in now, though. Altitude's coming off okay. We're going to keep the speed right at 50. Last call for predictions, guys. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 up to Victor base, left base to final now for the eastbound runway, Big Oak. Yeah, we're still very high. Might have to go a third go around to get this. I just don't have the trim right. Yeah, Big Oak, we are still too high. Cessna 514 up to Victor's going to go around one more time on the left closed traffic to the eastbound runway, Big Oak. Alright, power coming back in. Going back to flaps 1.
Big Oak traffic out of cover 145. Delta inform is coming in treetop level 4 straight in. Big Oak.
And 514 Delta Victor's on the go, turning upwind to crosswind for the eastbound runway. I got the helicopter in sight. Be out of your way. It's 514 Delta Victor. I'm sorry, Big Oak traffic. Ooh. Speed very, very low on the go around. Whoops. Sloppy, sloppy. Yeah, we're just over the tip. We're hovering over the tip here, guys. Excuse me. Bring the power out. Keep the nose level. We're at 900. I'm happy with that, I guess, for now. Big Oak, Cessna 514 Delta Victor. Third time's a charm. We hope we're in the left downwind midfield, eastbound runway at Big Oak.
Big Oak traffic, helicopter 145, Delta Eastbound on ground, Big Oak.
Second notch of flaps. Power coming back. Trim down just a touch. Oh, we've always been a little PG-13. Don't sell me short. I keep the language family friendly. I never said I was a prude. Okay, there's our target. Final notch of flaps. Yeah, power's, yeah, airspeed's dropping. Let's bring the nose around, see what we see, but let's keep that altitude coming off. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's left base to final now for the eastbound runway, Big Oak. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, that's looking much better, much better. Still a little. Nope, 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 nope. We're not going around this time. It's hard to see what we're lined up for here. There we are. Okay, so I was misinterpreting what I was seeing as far as what we were aligned for. Oh, that was a little more firm, huh? A little more firm and a little sloppier, but, you know, that's what we had to do. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear of the eastbound runway in Big Oak. Parking brake, idle to 1,000. Throw the flaps, carb heat off.
Big Oak traffic, stationary 114, Papa taxi to the eastbound runway.
Veto strobe landing lights.
North side of the field. Big Oak.
Alright, where were the predictions on that one, guys? So Harry Laugh says, I don't think I've ever seen anyone fly at Baybridge on VATSIM. Well, it's actually pretty popular among the Washington ZDC controllers, so you do actually see some GA traffic there pop up from time to time. Anyway, really quickly, sun's starting to set, so we're starting to lose light. 192 was the winning number. Yeah, Kinney's perennial guess is probably going to be pretty close here. We had 95, 82, 123, 110, 173 was Kinney's, 127, 52, 99, 75, 123. Yep, gonna be Kinney. He says, yeah, it didn't look that hard. No, I don't think it felt that hard either. It was
it's not
it was not the smoothest pitch control. I was kind of up and down a little bit with it. Yeah, I was hovering over the tip, and then I was kind of up and down with it. But anyway, we got it done. And, you know, we took a little longer to get Freckles there, but we got it done. Where are we? It's 10:24. And this is Big Oak Farm. 2 more stops to make, guys. Big Oak is 1 Mike Delta 1. I will have to grab 1 more ticket because we did have a double entry. Of course, means I got to run over to the closet for that last one, but that's okay. Let's get this out of the way. We're idling at 1,000. Good. Yeah, everything's good. Temps and pressures looking good. Still got plenty of fuel. All right, let's hustle, guys. 2 more stops. We're going to go just take off, and we're going to go just straight to the south. Now we're going to take off to the east. Actually, I think what we'll do, because we saw this one, it's pretty easy to spot. Let's just take off.
Traffic.
We'll taxi out to the east. We'll take off to the west,
runway 34, ragged
and then we'll do the same thing. We'll make ours a left downwind to 34 at Ragged Island. So we'll depart to the west, southbound, and then left downwind for 34. And like I said, we overflew this when we first came into Ross Neck, so we know what it looks like. Just for the stats, 2,000 foot paved, 16 and 34. Alright, real quick, let's adjust our directional gyro. We're parked at a 161 right now. I bet you that's, yeah, I was going to say, that's probably way off. It's not as far off as I thought, actually. 161. We're going to take off westbound, and then we'll land on, what did I say, 34 at Ragged. Okay. So if we're taking off westbound, then we'll taxi off to the east. Oh, sorry, Freckles, I didn't get the windows open for you, but we're going to go real
Ragged
quick
Island,
now anyway. So
Papa, turning final for 34, Ragged Island.
So we'll get going. Big O traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's taxiing out to the westbound runway. We'll depart VFR southbound, left crosswind out of Big Oak. And there is a road that crosses the runway. So, of course, now on VATSIM, I mean, on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, the AI traffic is not going to respect the fact that there's a plane crossing here.
Ragged Island traffic, clear the runway.
So we'll deal with whatever we get with the traffic there. All right. Takeoff flaps set. Pitot, strobe, landing lights. Takeoff power set. Make sure we get full RPMs out of this beast. And away we go. Big O traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor departing on the westbound runway via left crosswind southbound. Big Oak. Shooting for that little gap there. 60 knots and up. Alright, I think we made it. Alright, flaps in. Let's keep the 60 knots. And let's start turning southbound. Big Oak traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear the runway. We're going to go that left crosswind, southbound VFR departure, Big Oak. And as we turn out, I think this is not an actual bridge. I don't know why it's rendered as such. Okay, and that's not the island. Yeah, Ragged Island is still coming around to our left here. Yeah, it's right on that peninsula, so we'll just kind of shoot down that way. We'll keep getting the airspeed up to, the altitude up to 1,000. And I will reset the Heading bug to 3-4. So let's swing it out to the east here. West, rather. Alright, there's 1,000. So we can lower the nose. We'll pull the power just barely off the red line. Oh, am I missing it? I think I might be looking... Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry. Whew, that was disorienting. Okay, so I think I was looking at the other side of the Choptank River. I think I was passing. I got really disoriented by the reflection there for a second, guys. So I think I've now overshot Ragged Island. Oh, there it is. Or is it this right here? Oh, this is it right here. This is it right here. Ragged Island traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's on a left downwind midfield for runway 34 Ragged Island. Okay, whew, that was a very real sensation of vertigo. That was really kind of, it was scary, but it was cool. That the sim is that powerful to make me kind of just like, my head just go, whoa, where am I? I have no idea what my attitude is. Let's get some predictions into the chat, guys, as to the vertical descent rate upon touchdown. No bot command necessary. Just a number into the chat, positive or negative. We'll know that you meet a descent rate either way. Winner with automatic entry into our landing rate raffle, which we are selecting the winner of on Wednesday's stream. Ragged Island traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's left base to final now, runway 34 Ragged Island. Alright, we're overshooting. Carb heated, by the way. Overshooting, but we get the final notch of flaps in. Power back up. And not quite a square pattern, but we are okay. Yeah. Yeah, if you wanted a tutorial for how to lose your spatial, sense of spatial relationships in this sim, try to level the wings while you're looking out the window and accidentally tracking the reflection. Flaps are full, carb heat's on, shooting for about 50 down final. A little bit high, I think. It's a bit of a sloped runway, it appears. Power's way back. We'll add a little bit back in. Keep it at 50. Alright, power out. Should be good with this one here. Yeah, okay, we'll take that.
It's not about Great Britain, it's about Great Butter.
Alright, the carb heat off. Flaps can be stowed. We'll get the idle up to 1,000. Ragged Island, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's clear of the runway. We're going to taxi back toward the 3-4 end via the grass taxiway west of the field. Ragged Island. Yeah, we make stuff up as we go along here, guys. That's a bush-style stream for you. So flap stowed, carb heat off, pitot off, strobe, landing light off, and let's just get the windows open for Freckles to get a little bit of a breath of fresh air, breath of fresh air, breast of fresh air, and we'll get the winning number for you here in just a moment. Spoiler alert, hope you guessed low. And then we'll make our final leg of the evening over to Cambridge. Don't get tongue-tied, says Accurate. Well, Freckles has that effect on me. I know she's just a platonic friend, but just can't help myself. Kitty Monster said, did you just say breast of fresh air? No, I said breast of fresh air, in fact. Alright, so parking brake on. All the lights and stuff I did already. Let's idle up to 1,000. And make sure. Got to get at least 1,000 RPM so that the discharge warning goes out. There we are. Okie doke, guys. Yeah, okay, right. It all seems so clear to me now, right? Glad you cleared that up for me, Slant Alpha. Okay. 35. It was pretty sloppy, but it resulted in a 35. What we have on the books here on 99, 84, 85, 96, 91, and change. Yes, I know the reference, Fizdo. 173, 121, 109, 127. Wow, okay, so who had the lowest? Was it Acro with the 84? Acro is sweeping tonight. Good gracious. Am I missing anything, guys? Does anybody have lower than 84? Now, don't get me wrong. I have no idea how I pulled a 35. Ragged Island is Mike Delta 82 on 10/24. Rob Valkyrie asks, what kind of bees make milk? And I don't know the answer, Rob, but I'm prepared for it. Boobies, right. Alright, guys. One more leg, and that's going to be the longest one of the evening as we go from Ragged Island 12 whole miles east, Cambridge, Dorchester. We're going to swing it just a little bit to the north toward the town of Cambridge, and the reason we're going to do that is just so that we can, if this is the path to final, and I'm going to, this is... The size of the runway is exaggerated on the map, guys, so the size of final approach is exaggerated on the map also. So we're not actually going to be in the restricted airspace. But there's final, there's the left base, there's the left downwind. the 45 is going to kind of follow the railroad track out toward the western edge of the town of Cambridge. So when we depart Ragged Island, we'll go right crosswind and eastbound, but we're going to kind of follow the Little Chop Tank River here and then head toward Cambridge, and that'll put us on that 45. So that's kind of the plan here, shadow the river until the river turns north, and then we'll break off to the east. So there we go. That's what we're doing. Alright, we ready? Car beat off, flaps set for departure, parking brake off. Ragged Island traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's taxiing out to runway 34. VFR departure to the east, Ragged Island. Alright, let's button up some windows. And let's go with the pitot heat strobe and landing lights. Ragged Island traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor departing runway 34. We'll make a right crosswind VFR eastbound departure at Ragged Island. Alright, this will be another one where we go ahead and hold the brakes. Make sure that thing's firing up at our full RPMs. Retired USAF asks, how well does Flight Sim 2020 show golf courses and racetracks? It's all built on imagery. The entire globe is built on ortho imagery. It shows pretty much everything that's really there. It doesn't always get it 100% correct, because the 3D structures are kind of guesses based on what it's seeing in top-down flat imagery oftentimes. So it doesn't always get the structures correct, but most of what you can see from above is there. Almost everything. Alright, 60 knots, flat off. Gain a little bit of altitude at the 60 knots. Once we're sure we're good, we'll get the flaps in. Nose down to keep the 60. Start the right crosswind. Ragged Island traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear of the runway, northbound runway. We're turning eastbound, follow the Little Chop Tank River. VFR eastbound, leaving the area of Ragged Island. Alright, did we make that call long enough? Alright, so kind of want to wander back down to the right, and I want to join the biggest tributary. Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, once we get over this is the main body of water. The Little Chop Tank River kind of goes in a northeast direction, so we want to get to the point where we're following it. No.
Cambridge Regional Traffic, Station Air 114.
At about a 70
miles to the west, we're going to
heading.
head left downwind for runway 34, Cambridge Regional.
Okay, there's 1,000 feet. I'm going to go ahead and drop the power out. Trim it out to 1,000. Alright, so I think we're over the main body of the Little Chop Tank now. And what we just saw was the piece that comes out and curves left, ends up right there at the town of Christ's Rock. Yeah, so I think this is the piece we want to follow. Comes up and kind of has arms flailing to the left and right. So that's Yep, up here we got arms left and right, like a ghost holding her arms up. When we get to the top of that, there should be a road that kind of heads down to the east. And the town of Cambridge, it looks like we got air traffic up there. I put a point right at her head. Then a 120 heading is going to get us to the airport. Alright, so we'll aim for that 120 heading.
Traffic, 114 with Papa. Left base to final for runway 34.
Off of the tip here. I'm going to trim up a little bit, but I'm still going to trim for a slight descent since I'm 200 feet over my pattern altitude. Okay, so from this point of the river where the two arms come out right to left, not quite there yet. However, I see there's some air traffic up ahead. I suspect that is our friend Good Fixins. And I suspect that we are about to watch him land at the runway. So let's not lose sight of the patch of land that he's heading towards right now, because that probably will be good information for us to have. Okay, so this clearing, this general clearing area looks like it's where he's headed. Now, I said from the tip of that little banshee-looking shape in the water, The Lady in the Water, which was a terrible movie, by the way. We want to turn to about a 120, which is what we're doing now. Okay, that's getting us in the direction of that airport. Matter of fact, let's go a little bit to the left, because I want to look at this compass up here and make sure it's
traffic. Clear of runway 34. A taxi to the GA ramp.
By the way, I don't think I showed you. So there's no airport diagram, but we do have a little bit of a taxi diagram here on the approach chart. It's an RNAV approach, so the approach doesn't help us, but it does give us this little taxi diagram. So if we land 3-4, it'll be a left-hand turnoff to the ramp area. So that'll be our plan. I think I'm kind of headed right toward it. Not really seeing it, though. I mean, okay. I see us. That may be it. Okay, yeah, we're heading toward midfield here, guys. And we're also over top of the road that leads right into town. And then we should see US 50 kind of swinging around, and it's just off of that, so. Alright, all the clues are starting to line up. Let's get down to pattern altitude and make our pattern entry call here. Cambridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's about a couple miles, about 3 miles north and west. We'll call it west maybe. 1,100 descending. We're going to enter a 45 to left downwind runway 34 at Cambridge. Oh, so this is Route 50 actually over here. Comes in over this bridge and then comes through town. This is what I was telling you before. When you pass this, the Wawa and the Taco Bell and the McDonald's. You know, we always knew going to Ocean City, Maryland, we always knew that that was the point where we were 1 hour away. Alright, my yoke on the left roll response, you can see, is getting a little jittery, so I'm going to just slam it to the side and back again. Normally that fixes it for a little while. You were asking about racetracks? Yep, right there. Behind my head. There it is.
Cambridge Traffic helicopter 145 doesn't inform about 2.5 miles to the west, going to go straight into the FBO Cambridge.
Alright, I'm a couple hundred feet below pattern altitude, but I'll get it back. Cambridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor is now in that left downwind, almost at midfield now for runway 34 Cambridge. Alright, what's our turn-in point, guys? This little cluster of buildings leading up to this clearing. That's kind of a long final. We'll make it parallel to where the tan changes to the green. So get those predictions in, guys. Number into the chat. Positive or negative. We'll go one more farm east of that. Number into the chat, positive or negative, that represents your guesses to the vertical descent rate upon touchdown. No minus sign is needed. No bot command is needed. We know that you mean a descent either way. Closest predictor with their entry into our monthly landing rate raffle, which we're actually pulling 2 nights from tonight. Cambridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's left downwind to left base now, runway 34, Cambridge. Alright, that should do it. That should be our turn to final now. Speed's very, very low. Let's get that fixed. No need to shoot for 50. We can keep it to 60. We got a nice long pavement for this one. We'll go ahead and get the carb heat in. It is a little humid today. Keep a reasonable amount of power. Keep it for 60 knots. Cambridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor's left base to final now. Runway 34 Cambridge. Alright, that's working out really nicely. At least end on a good note. We flew a pretty decent pattern to that one. Let's keep the speed right around 60. I think we're a little high. We'll drop some altitude with some throttle. As we level out, we'll get a little bit of throttle back in. I'm still a little slow. We're going to float like the devil here, but we'll get it. We had plenty of pavement to work with, so we worked with it. Yeah, wasn't happy with the altitude control on final, but altitude or speed control, neither. Neither really. But like I said, we had plenty of pavement to work with, so we got it down safely, and we'll call it a night. It feels like I'm starting to get a little tired. Alright, let's get clear and then clean. Carb heat and flaps. Cambridge traffic, Cessna 514 Delta Victor, clear 34 Cambridge. Alright, and I've been pretty happy with the custom model match rule that I made. It made everybody that was logged on as a helicopter into one of those drone-looking things. And everybody that was in a GA type got into got rendered as an appropriate generic GA type. So far so good. I'll test a few more nights and then I'll publish what I've got once I'm sure that it's working exactly the way I want it. I know that there is something out there on the TO that supposedly does kind of the same thing, but never hurts to have additional information. I'll publish mine if I think I'm satisfied with it. Alright, parking brake is on. Pitot, strobe, and landing light can come off. And we get the throttle idling up to 1,000, although it doesn't really matter as much since we're going to shut it down here just a few, but we want to shut it down with a nice charged battery, I suppose. Will the Acronerd says, will the V-Pilot rules work with X-Pilots? They are... No, they are completely... They use completely different logic to match. Now, Acronerd, I do have a file that might help you that I'll pop into the text support channel over on our Discord that may be useful to you, that seems to help things out for me. But yeah, it's a completely different logic system that it uses, and we'll talk after. Anyway, guys, so the final winning number for tonight, and I'm gonna have to get a ticket and write it up after the stream closes because it's in that closet that I can't reach without leaving the cockpit. But 75 was the winning number, so let's at least figure out who it was that's supposed to get it when I do. Whoops. Not trying to scroll. I'm not trying to zoom. I'm trying to scroll. All right, where were the guesses? 65, 58, 50, 99.
It's not rigged, Kinney. You just lost.
173, 8, 118, 96. Are you telling me that Acronerd gets one more? Holy crap. 65 from Acronerd is 10 away. Was there anybody else in the 65 to 85 range? That is crazy. Acronerd, man, how many did you pick up tonight? So, 1024. We had, what was the order here, guys? Those are all older. So our winners tonight: Good Fixin's P-Bowl, Acronerd Double, Good Fixin's Kitty Monster, Acronerd. So of 8 landings, Acronerd had the closest prediction on 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, but got 5 entries into the landing rate raffle by virtue of the fact that one of them was dead on. So that's going to close out the entries for our landing rate raffle. We'll recap the raffles here in just a moment, but we do want to go ahead and get the plane shut down. Freckles, of course, very anxious to get out, as she's been in the very closed, confined space with a big old fat guy for, about 3.5 hours now. So we'll let her out here in just a moment. But, let's go ahead and, so transponder can come off, DME box off, COM2 off. I said, we got to spin that all the way down. COM1 off. And then ADF we never even turned on, and that I don't have an off switch for, I don't think. What else? So radios off, transponder, yeah, that's done. I'm going to do a quick live mag check. We're going to just bump the throttle up just a touch. I'm going to blip the magneto switch down to left, then right, and then off, and then right back on real quick. We just want to make sure that the engine does start to die. That's so that we know that the magnetos send power by default. If the lead wire that interrupts the power comes off, then the magneto switch doesn't work and the mags stay live the entire time. And it'll just sit on the ramp like that, which can be dangerous if somebody bumps that prop. So you always want to check and make sure that magneto switch does indeed kill power to the mags, and it does. Okay, we'll pull the throttle all the way down now. So now that we got it all the way down to low RPMs, we'll pull the mix lever. And prop stops eventually. There we go. Mags can come off fully now. And we'll go ahead and pop the door and let Good Fixins get out of here. Go ahead and pop my door just to get the rest of that air going through. And yeah, good. Pick a 5-string says she tends to make a beeline as soon as the door opens. Yeah, she's beating feet already. You know, when you sit in a plane as small as a Cessna 152 with a guy my size for 3.5 hours straight, yeah, I'd want to make a beeline out of there too. I can't really blame her. But anyway, yeah, thanks guys for flying along with us, just as Freckles did. Of course, she's not too bad to look at. I don't know about some of you. I mean it when I say that. I don't know about some of you. I don't know what you look like. But always happy to have you along regardless. It was the river run, as we've said multiple times. The river run has got to turn into a bay run on this one. But we're going to go ahead and finish up this trip down the Chesapeake Bay. I think on our next episode, we're going to cross over. We're going to do some playing around here. We'll go back to the regular VFR section. We're going to do some playing around west of... See, we got this restricted airspace we've got to get around. But next episode of River Run, we're going to do some playing around west of the bay, right down here around Patuxent Naval Air Test Center. And we'll hit some of these fields down here on the lower western shore, southern Maryland as we call it. Even though this section of Maryland is just as south as this is called the Eastern Shore. Anything east of the bay is called the Eastern Shore. Down here's the lower Eastern Shore where I live. West of the bay is just called Southern Maryland. So you see this down here? Pocomoke City, that's not Southern Maryland. That's the lower Eastern Shore. When you come over here and talk about Waldorf and Princess Anne, that's Southern Maryland. Doesn't really make sense, but it is what it is. Anyway, so we'll play around in Southern Maryland on our next River Run episode, but we got a whole bunch of stuff that we want to get to in November. Really cool stuff planned for you in November. So I think we're only going to get to one River Run in November. But anyway, the plan is to do that, and then we're going to kind of bounce over here back to the Virginia portion of the Delmarva Peninsula. The VA, the last two letters of Delmarva are the Virginia section of that peninsula, which is basically everything between the Chesapeake Bay and the Delaware River. Then we'll work our way back up. Now once you get down to the southern tip of the Delmarva, that you would think that would end the river run as we've dumped all the way out to the Atlantic. However, just because this is my home area, we are going to come back up and we'll land at Ocean City Municipal, which I kind of unofficially consider my home airport since I work for the department that manages it. So that's where we'll end River Run Season 2. In the meantime, we're launching a new series, which we will, I don't know if we'll talk about because I've got plenty of other things to do in the wrap-up tonight. But launching a new series next month. You can check out that full show schedule down there underneath the About tab or over on our Discord server if you want to kind of check that out. It should be a fun one, guys. I think it'll be cool. We kind of have discussed it on stream before. But for the full show details, go into that. I think that first November show is the one that you want to look at. That should be a pretty fun little series that we're going to launch there. Anyway, so that was River Run. Thanks for riding along with us tonight. We are a general aviation flying stream. We also do some VATSIM air traffic control. The streams are normally done on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. That is currently 2300 Zulu. When it shifts back from daylight to standard time next week, it'll shift to where the start time is actually midnight Zulu, but it's one day ahead. So Monday night, 7 Eastern, will be midnight Zulu Tuesday morning, if you will, and so on and so forth. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time remains the show schedule. Again, we do change that up every now and then for this obligation or that obligation, but that full show schedule, as we mentioned, is down there underneath the About tab, and that gets you halfway through November. The full show schedule all the way through the end of November is over on our Discord server. The Discord server is a great way to interact with us, by the way, since we do so much hand flying on stream, and I'm not always able to keep up with the chat, although I do my best. Now go ahead and close the plane up. We always welcome you to join our Discord server and get in on the conversation that way. Did I leave lights on? Yeah, I did, didn't I? Alright, now we're done. Anyway, so we always encourage you to join in on that Discord server when I'm not streaming. I check in on it every few hours. Always fair place to say hi to me if you would like to. If you were trying to ask questions about anything that you saw or heard tonight, you weren't able to get my attention because I have my hands full with the plane and the raffle predictions and everything else. Not able always to interact with every single message that pops up on the screen. But don't take that personally. That's just sometimes how the streams go when I have my hands as full as I do with the aircraft that I fly for you. We fly typically old school radio-based navigation. You'll notice tonight we didn't even tune any navigation radios. So doing just the visual navigation tonight. Pardon me, 1 second, guys. Anyway, the key point of Slant Alpha is that you don't have any RNAV capability. So you don't have a GPS, a Garmin unit, don't have a flight management computer. So you've got only those old school analog radio-based navigation tools, or like tonight, we did it entirely visually, just based on what we saw on the chart in terms of landmarks and coastlines and, you know, rivers and other visually identifiable things to corroborate our position with. Anywho, that's what we do, and we do occasionally break that mold. We do once in a while. We'll fly that working title CJ4 or the PMDD 737, but for the most part, we fly anything that's navigated through those old school analog radio-based gauges. So that's the usual shtick here. We also do that VATSIM air traffic control, which is what we're going to do for you on Wednesday. Again, that is the night that we are going to pull our monthly Alphabets points and landing rate raffle winners. The two raffles that we do every single month on this channel, our Alphabets points raffle, you join that with the Twitch channel points, the Alphabets points. Go ahead and tap that little button next to the Alphabet serial icon. It'll tell you how many you have and what you can do with them. 1,000 can be cashed in for 1 entry, 5,000 for 6 entries. And again, that drawing is done toward the end of every single month. And our October one just happens to be 2 days away. If you don't get any points in for October, don't fret. We're going to reset all the entries after each drawing like we always do. And then you'll have a fair shot at getting a winning ticket in for our November drawing, which we'll start collecting entries for right away. So, that's raffle number 1. Raffle number 2, you got me talking about 9 entries tonight. And that was the landing rate raffle, so you kind of got the gist of how that works if you've been paying attention. We'll pull a winner out of each of those 2 fish bowls, the Alphabets fish bowl and the landing rate fish bowl. Each of the 2 winners pulled will get their choice of any item off of the Slant Alpha prize vault list, which includes all of our merch items, which I will send to you at my cost worldwide. Or, if you prefer an Amazon.com gift card or an xplane.org store gift card or a Sim Market gift card, those are good choices as well. Each of the 2 winners gets their choice, any one item off of that list that I just showed you there. The bottom of the screen, pardon me guys, the voice has just been awful tonight. I truly apologize. The bottom of the screen is our Discord server link. That's on the lower right-hand side of your screen. We talked about that. On the very bottom center is our Twitter feed. That's slantalpha at twitter.com. And if you want to keep up to speed on any last-minute schedule changes or postponements due to tech issues or personal or work obligations that crop up on us, or if an event comes up and we want to shuffle the show topics around a little bit to accommodate, you know, we publish these things sometimes 5-6 weeks in advance, and events get published in less of a time frame than that we're not totally married to our show schedule. We'll flip topics to accommodate new events that pop up, so we will let you know if we have to make any changes to that schedule, and invite you to follow us on Twitter if you want to stay on top of that. And the other thing we do there is we keep you up to speed on any major news in the flight sim community or the VATSIM community in particular. So give us a follow over there if you'd like to stay on top of all that stuff. Over on the bottom left-hand side of your screen is our YouTube channel. That's where we keep all of our old flight broadcasts. So if you want to see the earlier episodes of River Run, or if you want to see any of the other series that we have done, some of the folks are talking about some of those series in the chat. You want to check those out. you're more than welcome to do that. But the great resource that we have over there, and I'm saying great facetiously, it's probably pretty good, I guess, is our VATSIM tutorials playlist. We've got a bunch of videos that give you some idea if you're considering getting on the VATSIM network, but you need help figuring out what to put in as your call sign, or what these slant codes mean, alpha, slant golf, slant whiskey, whatever. Or if you need to know how to put a VFR route together or IFR route together, if you need to know how to read the VFR sectionals that we were looking at all night tonight, you weren't sure what some of the markings meant. Some resources that you can check out over there and kind of hopefully get yourself up to speed with what you need to know. Aviation's a huge knowledge base. You're never going to know everything before you hit connect the first time to the VATSIM network, but hopefully those tutorials will get you enough just to get you comfortable enough to get started with something simple, and then the more you do it, the more complex things you can get into. But check out that resource again, the tutorials, VATSIM tutorials playlist over on our YouTube channel. Across the bottom of the screen, you've got the advertisement for Flight Sim Expo coming up in June 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Houston, Texas. The festivities start on Friday at the Doubletree Hobby Houston, and then Saturday and Sunday at the Lone Star Flight Museum. This stream is a media partner. I'll be attending in person. I hope that many of you will get a chance to make it out there as well. Lots and lots of time left to do that, to make those arrangements. The registrations for the conference, now of course you got your travel arrangements, you got your lodging arrangements, but you also have your conference registration. However, in order to save you a little bit of money, I'm going to have a special code for you when the registration opens for the conference in December, about 6 weeks from now. There will be a special code that will get you, I believe it's 10% off. It's going to be a little bit of a savings for you if you use the special code that I give you for registering for that event. We'll share that code with you, and doing so is a way that you can support the channel. So we truly appreciate it if you are attending that event to hold off on registration until you've stopped into this channel, gotten that special code that identifies you as part of the Slant Alpha Adventures media partner audience, and they'll give you a nice little discount for that and some recognition from me as well when we get out there. So we'll have that information for you when the time comes. Again, that registration for the event starts in December, but it's not even happening until next June, that last weekend in June of 2023. But looking forward to that in an insane way. Hope to meet a bunch of you in person that I haven't had a chance to meet before out there in Houston, Texas at the end of June. Alright guys, we've recently passed 3,000 Twitch followers on this stream, which is amazing to me. And I can't thank you enough for the continued support of the channel. I'm so grateful that you guys continue to come back and see what we're up to night after night. So thank you so much for that. In celebration of the 3,000 followers, please mark November 11th on your calendar. That is a Friday. And on that stream, we will be doing a two-hopper in the PMDG 737, and we hope to end it by doing the river visual approach into Washington Reagan National Airport. We will be flying DCA as our second destination that night, depending on which flow they're in, whether we're on the ILS to runway 1, or the Mount Vernon visual to runway 1, or the river visual to runway 19. Of course, it could be instrument conditions, and we'll be on an instrument approach to one of those runways as well. But we'll see how it goes. But DCA will be our second destination that night in honor of Veterans Day. We'll fly right past Arlington National Cemetery as we make our way into DCA. The two landings that night, with your predictions, we will assign points to every single prediction, and the most accurate predictor over the two landings will get the top 8 most accurate predictors, I should say, over the two landings there will get themselves gift cards totaling $300. We're going to give away 8 gift cards totaling $300 in celebration of 3,000 followers on November 11th. But that one, you do have to be present to win. Our monthly raffles, once you got an entry in, you're eligible. But on November 11th, our 3,000 Twitch follower celebration, you will need to be here for that one. So do mark your calendar. Hope that you all will be able to attend that. It should be a fun one, guys. And ending at DCA is always a lot of fun. I get to take a lot of crap from my virtual colleagues in the Washington ARTCC on VATSIM, some of whom are here in the chat with us as we speak. Alright guys, that should wrap it up. let's figure out who we're going to send you all over to. If you're still in the mood to watch some flight sim stuff, a lot of other great streamers that are on. Let's see if we can pick one, shoot you over to them. Well, there's one who is, I feel like probably about to wrap up. Who do we have that maybe is just getting on? Oh, we got one that literally just started. Literally just started. Oh, wait a minute. No? Maybe it just ended. Hold on. Hold on. Let me hit refresh here because I think I was about to send you to somebody who did indeed. Yeah, just get offline. All right, hold on then. Alright, I'll tell you what, guys. We will send you over to somebody that we have not actually talked to in quite some time. But a friend of ours working the West Coast is BW Flight Simulation. BW Flight Simulation, our buddy B-Dubs, is out there working Oakland Center. So if you want to see VATSIM from the air traffic control side, of course, we do the local air traffic control, the tower level here on this channel. But B-Dubs is working the en route center, so he's also working any of the unstaffed positions below him, approaches and towers and grounds and deliveries that are under his center's airspace that are not staffed separately. He's got all that. He's responsible for all that. All that falls upward to him. But anyway, we'll shoot you over to Mr. B-Dubs. I haven't really talked to him in quite some time. But yeah, our friend Brett there's working hard for you right now, and we'll get you over to him to see how things work from the scope side of this equation here. In just a moment, do tell him that Slant Alpha says hello, and that hopefully we'll get to see him out in Houston. I've definitely met him before at Flight Sim Expos, and hopefully we'll get to see him again. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up. I've done a lot of talking since we got this airplane down. I had a lot to make sure that you all were up to speed on, so thank you for hanging with me, and appreciate you being here. We will see you Wednesday from the virtual tower cab somewhere in the Washington ARTCC. So until then, guys, have a great rest of the start of your week, and be healthy and safe in your own travels and adventures in the meantime. Talk to you soon.